G'day guys, welcome back to our SuperCoach Draft show, The Wire. The first time it has been named that, our second episode. We've named it. How good, boys. I'm glad to have you back. I didn't realise it was Richie Beno Day, but it's good to see you both.
2 for 22. Mate.
The Wire, baby. How sexy. I love it.
It's going to be good.
I love it. Very good. Yeah, no, look, we thought everyone that follows us, listens to us, knows that we love the 70s vibe, so we're leaning into that like Mick doing around a bend. And I had to get Walker out of, his favourite novelty beer T-shirt as well. So look at the big fella. He's looking good. He's looking fucking fantastic.
Scrubbing up all right.
Woo! Looking very nice, boys. I'm impressed.
Dressed to impress. Let's go.
No doubt about it.
If you can't make it, fake it.
That's fuck. I've been calling myself the guru for 3 years. Boys, what's been happening? What's doing?
Mate, plenty of draft chat. We've gone through the whole preseason, done all the positions. It's been a grueling preseason, hasn't it?
It's been an early preseason too for us. We started pretty much at the tick of New Year and hitting the Patreon. So we've got a heap of subscribers across on a Patreon, heap of people sharing ideas, heaps of content coming on there as well. So we've got like positional rankings, we've got strength of schedule analysis, we've got high ceiling analysis, dual analysis, everything that tickle your fancy to help you get a good start in your classic, but also a good draft as well.
But I had a look at the Patreon today. Everything you could fucking want and everything you probably don't want as well.
We're pushing it all down their throat. So, look, you can pick and choose what you want out of it, and it will help everyone in some way.
It's only the tip of the iceberg as well. Like, the stuff that we've put out in the preseason really hasn't been the stuff that we developed the Patreon for. It's more the in-season stuff. So your matchups, your captaincy stuff, everything like that's going to start kicking off. Once the season kicks off, it's just going to blow people's minds.
We were slightly unprepared by how popular it's been. So we've been developing so many different bits and pieces. But yeah, we've got things all lined out for the in-season stuff. So it's going to be even better.
How good. And you got yourself a tipping comp going?
Yeah, mate. We've got the tipping comp, first weekly RubDown tipping comp. So you can head over to footytips.com.au, just search the weekly RubDown. It's on there, free to enter. Bluebet's putting up $200 to the winner. Winner takes all. Mate, money for Jan.
How good.
Easy peasy.
Dead set money for old rope. Get involved.
I've won one tipping comp in my life.
It doesn't surprise me, mate.
That doesn't surprise me.
You know
either,
very little about rugby league.
Too many could be anythings.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. Yeah, I've been in tipping comp for a few years. I think I've been hurt too many times, especially when I was a teacher. And you'd be one of 2 or 3 males in the entire school and never fucking win the thing. You'd be the only one watching the games and you still just can't.
Tipping comps are so funny, isn't it? It's like every year, it's like some blokes misses wins it because she likes the animals. A tiger will beat a eel, so I'll take the tiger.
Well, I like the colour makeup of those Titans.
It's always them that win it, isn't it?
Killed me every single fucking year.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it anymore. Now, boys, tipping comps, all good and well, but we're getting close to draft weekend. Where your comp's next weekend, my comp's next weekend. As we spoke about in the last show, which was more so draft strategy. So if you are looking for your draft day sort of strategy, your draft weekend strategy, go back into our last episode, have a look at that. There'll be a link at the end of the show for that. Today we're going to talk more specifically players, booms, busts, sleepers, all the good stuff there. I think it's fair to say this is the most exciting episode of the year, I think.
Yeah, well, it's pretty much, we like to call this the happy ending of the preseason. Yep. We've been rubbing you right all preseason. We've worked our way down through the traps, the shoulders, spent plenty of time on the glutes.
No doubt.
And now it's time to flip you over.
Rubbing raw today.
Now it's time to flip you over and finish this bad boy off and give you, our biggest tips before you do your draft.
Now, before we do get into that, I think by far and away the most interesting player for me next Saturday, for you next Sunday, will be little Papi. Melbourne Storm came out and said the other day they're not expecting to see him till round 6 or round 8. I think that could be round 16, round 18, for all we fucking know. Yep. If Papi was completely fit and ready to go, you could argue with me, pick 3, even pick 2,
100%.
if he's at his best.
Yeah. Yep.
Where do you have him sit in the moment?
Somebody else's problem, that's right.
I think I'm the same. But, I mean, in a comp like mine, if you're pick 13, 14, you start to look at him.
Yeah, and if you're back towards the end of your draft and you're in the 12-man league, pick 12 and 13, you'd be thinking real hard about taking that punt. pick up like a meanie or something on the bench afterwards for a bit of cover, there's worse ideas.
I think like in my comp, for 14 man, I think if you've got pick 1 to 5 and somehow he survives back to your pick 2, I think it's worth a punt there.
Yeah.
But I'd be shocked if he gets out of the first 14 picks. Surely someone has got to go, fuck it, there's no one at the back here that can probably win me a comp except that guy if he gets back to his best.
Yeah. It's the uncertainty. It's like, and everyone would be the same with everything on social media. You know, one day it's 6 to 8 weeks, next it's 8 to 12. You know, some people are saying, you know, it might not be till round 20. Nobody knows.
Yep.
Well, there was some talk at that, like when he first got injured, there was almost like a Jarrell Yao injury where
could retire.
Done.
Yeah.
But we caught up with Brian Sini a while back, and this is a bit of a plug of his Patreon, the Bible, injury profiles.
Ooh,
there are a number of pages on Papi himself, and I think he puts a bit of the fears to rest about some of the return to performance. I think it might just take a little bit of time for him to find his rhythm again.
Yep.
And I think it's probably going to be something where, similar to the injury when he came back last time, he may be coming off the bench for a little bit. Doesn't mean that his impact's going to be any less. It just means that, he's probably not going to get the minutes that we probably realise.
And that's my biggest worry. Yes, there's the amount of time until he's back, which might be 6 weeks. Then there's the amount of time until he's playing full games. Then there's the amount of time until he's got his confidence back. So I think saying 6 to 8 weeks is all good and well. For you to see the real Papi, I think if he comes back in week 6, you're probably not going to see it. I think it'll take him 5 or 6 weeks. I really do. Yeah. And he might not get there.
Yeah.
So, and I think when he came back from those head knocks a couple of years ago, he was very hesitant for about 3 or 4 games. So that's my big worry. If he was to come back fully fit and all good, but maybe they take the goal kicking off him.
Yeah.
Where does he sit now?
I think the one certainty out of this whole situation is he doesn't have the goal kicking for the season.
Okay.
Personally, that's what I think. Meanie is a really good kicker, and he's almost a lock for the goal kicking this year. I can't see him.
If Papi was completely fit right now and the Melbourne Storm came out today and said Ryan Papenhuyzen will not kick a goal this season, where would you have drafted him? Once you take goal kicking out in that team, it's probably worth 15 points a game, 16 points a game.
But his scoring potential
He'd still be around 1.
Oh, still round 1, but I think he drops out of that top 3 conversation.
He's top 5, fifth
okay.
pick. Yeah.
Yep.
Becomes
But it's just so much uncertainty, and to be honest, like I'm just going to let somebody else take him, and look, if it all works out for them, all well and good. But I just don't want it to be my problem because it would have to slip to like round 3, round 4 for me to even consider it. And look, fuck, if he does that,
he's not getting there.
Exactly. So
someone's having the punt on it.
It's somebody else's problem.
Yeah,
you've got the chance to be the absolute genius in your draft, though.
Yeah.
I think the other thing you need to keep in mind too is that this season, if he misses 6-8 weeks, he's also going to have another 2 buys in there later.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, 8 weeks, it's actually 10 weeks.
Yep.
Plus however long it takes him to be fully fit again. You're missing out on a lot of Papi throughout the year.
But that Storm strength of schedule at the back end of the season is tasty.
Good, yeah.
It is so good. They've obviously got no buys, but they've also got really good matchups. So it's
definitely... If there was just more information about it, if there was just more certainty about the injury and his return date and stuff like that, like there's just so much up in the air. For a guy that you're probably going to have to take within the first 20 picks, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
It's the up in the air that worries me.
Yep.
And let's say he gets back in round 6 to 8. When do you reckon the Melbourne Storm's first fucking buy is?
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
Round 9.
Yeah, there you go.
So any sort of rhythm that he's kind of build up over those
Even
weeks,
if he is on schedule, he has 3 buys in the next 7 weeks after that.
Yeah.
So he has 3 buys after he's meant to return. So you're looking at a third of the season without Papi. It's a big ask, I think, in a deep comp to make finals if you don't have your first draft pick for a third of the season.
Yeah.
Well, look at how we view...
He can't be a first draft pick, I don't think.
No. But look how we view guys that aren't going to play your grand final. So it's a one game that you're putting so much emphasis on, like a Latrell Mitchell for all of us, that we have our grand final around 26. We're all saying, we're going to let him go because of one fucking game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
So... yeah, it's a no-go for me. And look, if all this chat gets people to let him slip and it gets to a value pick, yeah, sure, but there's always going to be someone in your league that's just going to blow their load over Ryan Papenhuyzen.
If he slips to round 3, I'm jumping on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Push.
If you get the last pick in your comp and he's there at the end of round 1, you still don't consider him? No.
I'm not.
Okay. Interesting.
No.
I reckon that in my comp, I reckon guys would start to look at him in a 14 manner there, which isn't that many picks behind, obviously, what you guys are. But
No, exactly.
I honestly reckon in some comps, people will see the 6 weeks and go, I can survive
That's
the
not
first
that
few
bad.
weeks. Yeah.
But they're getting 2 and 2 and they're getting 5.
Yeah.
But something else you think about as well, if you're playing a captain's league, which you should be if you're not a coward, is you spend your first round pick, someone that is ultimately going to be your captain or vice captain every week, and you're going to be without that player for 8 weeks. Where are you going to be sitting on the ladder?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
And I mean,
that.
I also think that as much as you're going out without a captain, you're also going to be going without a fullback, which is the best scoring position in the comp.
Yeah, it's the
what are you
big
going to do?
deal.
Draft 2 fullbacks?
Yeah.
There's not many jewels around.
No, exactly.
It's a
Your two near top tier would be Meaney and Buddy Lockie Miller. And, mate.
I reckon both of them will get overdrafted too.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Everyone's been talking Meaney down the house, and everyone's been overhyping Miller from 6 games.
Yeah.
Like, he's good, but
You're one of them.
I'm a big fan of what he did at the Sharks. But
Miller.
Now, speaking of deep throating, you've got a top 10 stat for us.
Yes. Oh, geez. This is going to get the movement, boys. All right. So I've done a deep dive into the top 10s averaging players over the last 5 years. You have to play at least 13 games in the season to make that top 10. And so I found that there has been an average of 6.5 players. So I ran it down to 6. Let's be conservative here. 6 new faces in the top 10 on average from year to year in the last 5 years.
so only 4 have remained.
100%.
Fuck.
11 new faces in the top 20. So my question to you is, who are the new 6?
Who are the 10 from last year?
So we've got Hines, Latrell, Mad Dog, Cleary, Teddy, Isaiah Papali'i, Grant, Manu, Brown, Garrick. Just to go back, so from 18 to 19, Cook, Teddy, Turbo, Tomalolo. 19 to 20, Teddy, Cam Smith, Haas. 20 to 21, Teddy, Cleary, Trell. 21 to 22, Cleary, Trell, Teddy, Isaiah Papali'i. They're the only ones that were able to stay in that top 10 from year to year. Don't you think that's fucking crazy?
So Teddy, Cleary, and Trell.
Teddy's the only one that made it all through the 5.
That is
That's impressive.
That's pretty impressive from Teddy.
Yeah.
I know there's been a lot of people talking him down a little bit, and look,
Mate,
I've
stats
been
on
one of
the
them
board.
with his knees and all sorts of stuff. But
Points are on the board. So, okay,
Points are there.
let's go through that top 10. Hines will be there.
Trell will be there.
Trell will be there.
Mad Dog. I think,
Cleary will be there. Mad Dog. So that's 4. So we're already up into the average now, where the rest of these guys probably won't make it.
Well, who are the other 6?
So you got Teddy, Isaiah Papali'i, Grant, Manu, Brown, Garrick. Garrick won't be there. I don't think.
I reckon Garrick and Manu are a good chance to fall out of it.
Yep.
Yep.
I even think Dylan Brown.
I think Dan Brown will fall out of it.
So you got
yeah.
Brown, Garrick, Manu already. Isaiah Papali'i.
I feel he will, but he didn't last year.
There are so many
fuck
unknowns
knows.
with that team.
How much of a good knock is that for him to stay in the top 10 2 years in a row?
Hectic.
Absolutely.
Hectic.
Fuck, that's impressive.
Hectic. And then who's going to make it? Who's coming in? Who's the new faces? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we've talked up.
Dewey and Burton, man.
Dewey and
Dewey and Burton are going to
Jerome
have some
Hughes, we're
absolute
big on
huge-
Jerome
Yeah,
Hughes.
yeah, true.
Yeah, we got a bone to pick later on that. Anyway.
Here we go.
Love it.
Yeah, and there will obviously be, whoever has the best season out of the CTWs will get in. I'd be looking at a guy like Val Holmes. Wouldn't shock me if he's there.
Yeah, that's
at
true.
the back end.
Drinkwater, if
Drinky
he-
could
if he
be
goes
another one.
again.
Yeah. I don't think Val, because he's got the goal kicking up there.
Yep.
It's probably what pushes him for me.
Cameron Murray, without his injury-affected game, had a 71 average. So
that
starts
pushes up to like
that starts
76,
putting
doesn't
him
it?
up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I just found that stat crazy.
How, I don't know if you'll be able to find this now. How far off was Sam Walker?
Sam Walker. Well, he was
What, out of the top 10?
He was a
Yeah.
59
He
average,
was-
so he was
he
well
was-
out
he
of
was
it.
Well out of it, but like
Yeah,
heaps far out of it?
Yeah,
Heaps
well out of
far,
it. Yeah,
heaps
well
far.
out of it.
He's an interesting one that people are very, very excited about. I'm still a little bit. He's still a little bit too inconsistent for me, SuperCoach wise. But a lot of people are very hyped about him. But that top 10 stat is crazy.
Wild.
He gives me a bit of SJ vibe sometimes with his point scoring. Bit of the old roller coaster that you remember back in the day.
I do.
Yeah.
Only 4 players are able to maintain it on average.
I famously said in my SuperCoach comp that no one can ever win a comp with SJ. He's too up and down. Next year, motherfucker won it with SJ.
Yeah, nice call. One of your best.
Thank you. Add it to the list. Another fucking guru special there.
We all have them.
I
remember when we said David Fafita was going to be a flop, and he went. How many tries did he score? 28.
About a bazillion.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah, some of your best. All right, now we're going to go through some of our favourite stacks heading into this year. So obviously a stack is guys that will combine together, guys that will play on the same edge, guys that will create points together, I guess you could say. And I think that all the guys we're going to talk about, they're actually attainable.
Yep.
Like you quite often hear the Garrick Turbo. Going to be very hard to actually get your paws on that sort of one. But a heap of these other ones, obviously a lot of guys that are halfback, second rowers, halfback, wingers, centers, wingers, sort of stuff. A lot of combos that are very attainable, and I think that a lot of people in comps will end up with these. And would you say to people to try and get one stack in your side?
It's an interesting strategy. I've always liked the stack strategy, but you have to think about this year especially. If you go a good stack and you've got 2 high-profile players that are scoring well that are in your stack, you're going to be without both of those guys at certain parts during the year because of buys, which could be a super big kick in the dick.
I usually play with a couple of stacks through the team, and you have to have a bit more balance in your squad. I think you have to go for one decent stack, and I think it's like high and low. And that's probably the best way to do it. So you go for like a high-profile player, like I don't know.
Don't hurt yourself.
like a
Call the ambulance.
Cleary.
Is that a stroke?
Like a Cleary.
Took you 15 seconds to come out with Cleary, did it? Good.
Yeah. No. Cleary's are high, and then go someone like a Martin.
Yeah.
Someone that you can get maybe in round 5, round 6, maybe even round 7 in some leagues. And you can definitely, when he's fit, you can definitely get some real value out of it, and it's hugely attainable.
The other thing I love with a good stack is...
Take a breath for a while, mate. Just relax. Jesus.
The other thing I love with a good stack is if I, for example, if I end up with a Penrith Panther, halfback, 5'8", one of those guys, a late stack like a Taruva, next man up to build a stack later that is just one injury away from becoming relevant.
See, that doesn't hurt you during the buys.
Bit of a handcuff.
I'll tell you, in 2020, I had Luai, Kikau, Mansour, and I picked up Stephen Crichton, pick 17. He ended up left centre, so I had the entire Penrith Panthers left side that year. It was fucking unreal. Got rested in the grand final and got fucking spit roasted. But that's the way it goes sometimes. Grabbing Stephen Crichton, didn't know if he was going to be there or not. He wasn't in the team at the start of the year, but then he ended up at that left centre. Right. Every time the Panthers got tackled on the right hand of the sticks, I went, beautiful. Here comes 40 points.
Yeah.
How good. And fuck, when you got a good stack, there's not many things better.
Yep.
Wook, you got 5 for us?
Yep. So I alluded to it before. I think Cleary and Martin, or even Martin and Toto, would be a decent stack. Lane and Brown, that one's a bit more challenging to get. Marju and Ponga is a value one, because I think you can get like a bit of decent coin on that. Yep. Tanner Boyd and Fafita, they're obviously going to be combining a fair bit this season. Jury's out to see whether Fafita can reach his potential, but and then Ezra Mam and Corey Oates, because I think
He's got a nice little cutout ball there, doesn't he, Ezra?
Absolutely, he's electric to watch. Love him.
No, I like those. What do you got for us?
Yeah, I like Birdo and Fox.
Yeah.
I think the way they linked up during the middle of last season was just erotic, to say the least. Now, Latrell and AJ, you might say that that's a little bit unattainable, but a lot of people had them last season. And I think people slip on AJ because they think, average 70, whatever, he won't do that again. There's no chance. It's probably one of the most profitable stacks you could get, Latrell and AJ on that left edge. I love Jerome Hughes and Xavier Coates out there on the right for the Storm. Luke Keary, Angus Crichton. I know that Angus Crichton, it's a little bit uncertain about what's going on there, but on the other side, if Suaalii is playing wing, I don't know, do we have confirmation if
He's playing left centre.
He's playing, yeah.
Fuck, all right. Or maybe Keary.
Jackson Paulo's playing wing.
As it stands right now.
Well, then I'd rather have Keary and Toops then, because I think he'll run a nice decoy, Suaalii there on the left. And then Nico, and take your pick of the wingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like those. Some of the ones I've got, I'm high on Isaac Tungo into this season again. I think that a really good stack for him. Obviously, Taylor May would be good.
Yep.
I think Jerome Luai.
You think it's a breakout year for him?
I do. I think if you go through the
well, I got a bone to pick with you.
stats of Jerome Luai, you have a look through season 2020, it's definitely his highest average year. 2021, Matt Burton shifts into that second 5'8" role. 2022, Kickout shifts into it. Well, look at their side now. I don't think Garner's got it in him. And I think Isaac Tungo and Luai are going to pick up a heap more points this year.
I think Tungo's going to go through the roof, absolutely.
I think he will too. And I think that him going through the roof, it'll be Jerome Luai with Garner just running that block, him just going out the back. I reckon Jerome Luai is going to pick up a lot more. I don't think he's going to have to do much for more points, but I just think with Garner running that block and he'll be doing the ball playing, I reckon Jerome Luai, there's really good value in him this year. I will say this. Watch the World Club Challenge this Saturday night, and then we'll get a good guide on it. But based on the football that I think Luke Garner is, I think he runs one of the best lines in the NRL.
He does.
I can't really see it going any other way. The other one I'd throw in there, and unfortunately it's going to be a punt, but Dylan Edwards.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he plays both sides of the ruck now that they don't have a Kickout or a Burton there, but he hasn't been named this weekend, so we're not going to see him before round one. So,
and it's hard because we really haven't seen him play both sides of the ruck. So does he have it in him, or is he just always going to be that right edge link man?
I'm not as worried about whether he has it in him. I just think it's going to be another number down that edge, which I think is what's going to be important. So
just early ball to Tungo. Just do it. Just let him do his thing.
And who's going to give him that early ball?
Yeah.
That's where I think he'll be handy.
I just can't have Luai on my team. We'll talk about him later in the...
Another one that I think is worth a look at, the Cowboys left edge, Valentine Holmes and Taulagi. You can somehow get your paws on these two. I think Taulagi's a little bit slept on. I think Val Holmes will be right up there with the best CTWs. One that I love, which I'm surprised neither of you mentioned, and I understand this team, there's a few question marks around them, but I just think with Josh Schuster playing 5'8", younger, inexperienced, I think DCE is going to be on ball so much. DCE Olakawatu, which I think is attainable.
Yeah, actually, I do.
like
It's
that.
down the list a little bit, but that's DCE and whoever his edge back rower. That's been profitable for years.
Yeah,
he's
and he
one of the
loves
best.
this bloke.
Yeah, and it's been one of the best DCE with his edge back rowers. He loves to feed them, and we've seen how destructive Big Ola can be. Yeah, I like that one.
You could tell last year how much he was just trusting him, just feeding him the ball. So love that one. The last one I'll throw in there, and I think you guys are both fans of these guys. Obviously, Isaiah Papali'i is going to be on the left edge. Halfback, there's fuck all out there. Luke Brooks always finds a way to average 45 to 52. Every single year. Bag him all you want. He finds a way to do it. This year, it's catch and pass.
Yeah.
I love that.
He's not going to have
there.
to do that much work to get a profit out of it. So,
And it'll be all eyes on IPAP. It'll be slow his momentum on that side. Best thing about Luke Brooks is his running game. Definitely an attainable one there. It's
100%.
weird that you have to go a back rower first and a halfback later.
Yeah.
But I reckon that stack, there's a lot of value there.
I was big on Luke Brooks, sort of going through the preseason. Then we had Brian on. He was talking about his calf and how that's worrying him. It sort of put me off a little bit, but you're right. The best thing about Luke Brooks is his running game. Isaiah Papali'i is going to do one thing and one thing well, and that's suck in defenders.
Yeah.
And that is going to give space to Luke Brooks, and he's going to be able to tuck it under the wing and do his best work. And so I do like him as a sleeper.
Oh, no, just on while we're talking these stacks, I think it is worth noting if you can see someone else trying to form a stack, talk to the blokes around you. Like when you said AJ and Latrell before, fuck, if I see the guy with Latrell, I'm making sure the blokes around him know. Try not to let him get AJ.
100%.
Yeah.
It's that Turbo Garrick thing that we talked about last year.
Yeah.
Do not let the Latrell owner get AJ because in weeks where the Bunnies put 50 on teams, they'll both go 100 plus.
Yep. And they play the Roosters in the last round. They're not resting guys.
No.
They're going to war in the grand final week.
Yeah.
Assuming your grand finals then, if it's not, little bit of a different story. But
exactly.
I love it that when you see the guy draft turbo and as it goes back to him, Garrick's still sitting there and everyone's alarm bells goes off. Someone's got to fuck their season, but just don't let him get him.
100%.
Him and DCE, you don't want them to take him.
Could you imagine?
So you got to stay alive when it comes to stacks in your comp. Everyone's got to be helping each other, I think.
Yeah, especially if it's someone in your league you just don't want to win.
Yeah.
Like if it's someone that everyone collectively hates,
Yeah.
blackball him. Oh,
In a blue suit, 100%.
Please.
Watch that guy in the blue suit.
You fuckers try and do it every year. What happens, eh? What happens? It can't be touched. Too good.
All right. Should we get into our booms?
Yeah.
Let's do it, baby.
So for people watching, what would you describe a boom as?
Just someone that's going to beat their average from last year.
Yep.
Just someone that's going to improve from last year, or someone that you think, you're big on, someone that you might reach for in your draft, someone you're going to be stoked with if you get you on draft day.
Who's your front row forward, Natty?
Ruben Cotter.
Who?
Ruben Cotter. There's a few things about Rubes that I love.
Yep.
So obviously, 59
I
average.
loved his birth when I was there.
So 59
Loved his
average. I
conception.
think there's value there. He averaged 65 through the middle part of the season before he got injured. And then he came back and he sort of averaged around that low 50s with that injury sort of hanging around. Obviously, it affected him. I think he gets more minutes. I think his average goes up. And he's that man crush factor for me.
Yep.
I love everything about him. And when you're watching rugby league and you've got SuperCoach investments, you want guys that are racking up points. And when you watch Ruben Cotter, it's this. Points, tackle run. It's just SuperCoach nirvana.
A lot of guys I'm very high on this year are guys that got the experience of the World Cup a little bit earlier than what you probably would have anticipated. And Ruben Cotter spending 10 weeks with that pack over there, I reckon he's going to come back a fucking monster.
Yep.
Yeah. And he's obviously coming out of Origin as well.
Yep.
Like he was a bolter there.
And he knows he's going to
Performed really
play front row.
Yeah.
You know he's going to play. He's coming into this season. He's probably been in the weight room, put a couple of kilos on and muscle, coming in, looking bigger, fitter, ready to go. Whereas, he didn't even play the first, 5-6 rounds or something like that. Then he hit the scene, and it was just a fucking beast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's huge value there at that 59.
But I also think that 59 is unders because he was injured and he was coming back from that hamstring thing.
Yeah, that's what hurt his average.
For the last part of the season.
Yep. Value there.
Huge value. I think there's at least 5 points in that.
Hurts that he's lost the duel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hurts
Massive
a
kick in
lot.
the dick.
Yep. And it just hurts what position he is front row forward.
We could literally say that about every second guy we talk about.
Yeah.
Yep.
Losing duels. They've really
It's tough this year.
fucked us with that.
Yeah. Which I think is another tactic we'll talk about. Guys that have got the potential to get duels during the season.
Yeah,
value on.
absolutely.
There'll be a few we'll talk about here.
Yeah.
Walk.
For me, Joey Tapine.
Yep.
Look, he had a phenomenal season. He was top in almost everything. Post contact, offloads, you name it. He was part of it. 66.5 average. I think he can put 5 on that. I think with the right attacking output, the fact that you've got Fogarty in there for the full preseason, fully fit, they have a better idea of what they're going to do with their hookers, so they don't have an injury in the first round. Fingers crossed. But obviously with the talk of Levi possibly getting in there as well, starting off the bench might be an interesting one. But yeah, I think Tapine is definitely one that he floats my boat.
Minutes worry you at all? That's my number one fear. That's why I won't be going him.
The whole sticky rotation thing was an issue in years gone by, but with Josh Papi getting towards the back end of his season, he's already shown Sticky last season that he protects him minutes wise. So look, they've got rid of
big minutes out of him.
They got rid of like Sutton, they got rid of a bunch of their middle forwards.
Have you got the stats there about minutes and what he averaged? He didn't play big minutes anyway, did he?
Joe Tapine.
High
yeah,
50 minutes?
It was high 50s, yeah.
He was getting more minutes than what he was getting before. There's no doubt about that. Okay. So that's my only worry with him. I won't be going him, but I can understand those that do.
I want to just put it out there. I'm not keen on any front row forward.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I just want to make that clear.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had Tapine last season and he was an absolute beast.
Yeah. And I mean, you can probably talk about it more, but the way that he exploded, I think it started in round 13.
Yep.
Really came from nowhere.
Well, it was probably even round 8, I think.
Yeah.
Because, he had a bit of a slow start of the season, but, he came on strong. And I thought it was going to dip, and he just kept going, pumping out those awesome scores.
Who's your big boy guru?
Well, I sort of had those guys on my list. As you know, with front row forward, it's a bit of a fucking shit fight. I've got 3 names down here that I think, mate, I wrote these down last week. We had a plane delay. Shout out to the Orange Planes.
Don't
They
fucking
will
get
remain
me
unnamed.
Don't
But
get me
anyway,
fucking started.
last week I had Daniel Saifidi as one.
Oh, yeah.
After watching him in that first trial, I was far from impressed. I was very disappointed, to be honest with you. Royce Hunt. I've always been a
Royce
fan of
Hunt.
him. You guys have always liked him.
Yep.
I like Royce the choice.
Oh, shit. I just tucked that into my belt.
The other one that I
about
think
him
is
later?
interesting, and I'll say Sean Kepi, but I think it's someone's going to grab minutes at Manly.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who it's going to be. I found it very interesting that this week, Jake Trbojevic was named in the front row.
Is
in
Nathan
their
Brown
trial.
signed with
He hasn't signed yet, but if Nathan Brown signs, he becomes interesting.
Yeah.
Jake Trbojevic is the other one I want to touch on. Des Hasler
Might get a front row forward.
Des Hasler has completely fucked him the last few years playing that link role. If he moves into the front row forward, I think there's a good chance we see Gerbo from 4 years ago.
And that's
Yeah.
interesting.
There's movement.
There is movement because, look, he was one of the absolute set and forgets in your front row forwards for years gone by.
I was having a coffee with a
2RF,
mate
so.
the other day and he goes, I think I've got a front row forward, Smokey, I'm going to go for it. And I sort of went, it's front row forward, who gives a fuck? He goes, yeah, but I think he's got upside, no one's talking about him. I go, Gerbo. He goes, fuck, don't say anything on the RubDown, don't say anything. Sorry, mate, top of the notes, it's got to be spoken about. So, Gerbo, I think he's interesting, but...
he's going to be slept on massive because he didn't even get 50 last season, or
100%.
just on 50 last season. So,
I think,
huge.
just to be clear, especially with that specific front row forwards, we're not overly keen on any of them.
No.
I'm not going to be going near those guys. Not even going to be considering them.
There's literally guys that I would pick on my bench before I would pick a front row forward.
That is...
You're picking your whole team effectively, and some injury cover for maybe a half.
Yeah.
Before you go to your front row forwards,
Yeah.
it's so deep in every mock draft that I've done. It's always so many forwards at the end of the game.
That's my whole strategy this year. I'm going to pick jersey 15, 16, 17. Oh, actually, I forgot to tell you, we've actually expanded to 18. We've added an extra one on the bench, so I've got 18 names now. So,
So cowardice.
is it?
Yeah.
I think it makes it harder.
Nah.
Yeah, right. Which 2 CTWs are you going to pick this year, miss?
Yeah. Waiver will be humming.
The
It's
waiver
gonna
is just going to be.
Let's just
Waiver will
let's
be
just
humming.
have-
Fuck hell.
18. What? Pick 30. Pick 30 players. Let's all pick 30 and just run with.
You got to
Everyone
make
have-
it count with those 30
sweet,
then,
30,
mate.
30 players. Let's do that.
Yeah, sweet.
And then just
10-man
have
comp.
no waiver wire.
Yeah, 10-man comp, 2 CTWs. Fucking adorable. Adorable.
Hey, 12.
I'll be wearing a suit too to
12
get some
man comp.
fucking respect around here. All right.
You would last 2
hey,
seconds
steady
in the
on.
league, chump.
Have a look at our Booms 2RFs. And look, I'm going to start with yours
All right,
because
mate.
I think yours is a trap.
Oh, I like Liam Martin. Look, I feel like he's only averaged, I think it was 56 last season. I think he can get an uptick on that for sure. I wouldn't be aiming for anything higher than that. But yeah, I feel like he's a bit of value, to be honest.
Because
53.1 53.1 from last season. And I think you take out kick out, there's going to be a bit more direction down the right side. Yeah, I definitely think there's going to be a bit of an uptick from that 53.1.
Natty, thoughts?
Yeah, I think he'll definitely beat that 53. I don't think he has to do much to beat that 53. I think the minutes will be pretty consistent. Obviously, running off Nathan Cleary, who knows how to use his edge back row as well. I don't mind the call with a little bit more traffic going down the right edge. We saw that there was a little bit of a shift with the Panthers' attack when Cleary was up and humming, that it was more right dominant rather than left.
Yeah.
So with that traffic, I think, he's definitely a boom. I think he'll beat last year's average, but it's not someone I'm probably looking at as in like I'm going to reach for him or something like that. But
Oh, God,
I think
no.
I think
No,
his
no.
value. I think he'll slip to parts in the draft where there'll be value for him.
Yeah.
I reckon that him coming off Premiership last year into World Cup, he'll have an Origin series this year. I don't think he plays 80 minutes every single week. I think they're going to have your Sorensens,
Sorensen.
Hoskings, these sort of guys that come in. I also think Liam Martin is just one of those guys. He looks tremendous. But his SuperCoach output isn't there
translate,
for me.
yeah.
It just doesn't translate.
He's got a bit of uptick about him, but yeah, I don't think he's going to be getting 65 or 70, but I definitely think he could average 60 by the end of the season.
I mean, there's in the first 5 weeks of last season, he scored 4 tries in those games. One of them he scored 80. He scored a try in round 4. He scored 41 with a try in 60 minutes.
Oh, no.
That's not good.
Scored a try in round 5 and got 61.
That's Walker backing out of this pick.
I mean, he scored a try against the Warriors in round 15 and scored 67. I just don't.
I still think that he can beat his season average from last year, being the 53, and I think he can get up to the 60.
I reckon his ceiling is about 55, 56. But I reckon people will draft him maybe for 60. I just don't think he's that guy.
Yeah.
No, I don't see it. But
I don't see him as someone that I'd reach for, but he's definitely someone that he'll feel like your third or fourth.
He's not a name that
spot.
people are talking about.
No,
So
no,
usually
not at all.
that means I'll slip to a point that maybe you take him.
you don't reckon people are going to be talking about him this year, standing next to Cleary and...
I haven't heard his name, apart from coming out of this idiot's mouth.
All right. 'Cause I thought it was interesting, like you look at he hardly played 80 the entire year. Well, like he played 80 here and there, but the back end of the season, finals and all that, he was playing 80 consistently every single week, and I think that'll be their ploy. We want him for 80 when the big stages come.
Yep.
But coming off a World Cup, he's already fucking injured.
Yeah.
Origin series, that's my worry with Liam Martin. Who you got?
Well, I did have Gussie Crichton, which is an interesting conversation to have. That 66 average, I think he beats that if he's healthy and he's playing, but we don't know what's happening there. And it's an interesting conversation to say where do you take Angus Crichton? Because I had him at points in the preseason, I had him in the top 10.
Yep.
And I was saying, I'm not pushing back if you pick him 9-10. Now, with the uncertainty, I've got no idea where to take him. But I said he'd shit that 66 in if he was up and ready for round 1.
Yep.
He averaged like 94 in the last 5 games of the season when the Roosters were humming. But I'll leave him, and I
still think that 66 average it's beatable once he
Oh
does
yeah,
come back. It's just so much uncertainty.
exactly. You just don't know.
Sorry,
but I'm talking about my boy Paddy Carrigan here. Now,
why did you save him for the man crush?
He'll be there. He'll be there, baby. I'll talk about you. He comes up a few times in my run sheet. Don't worry about that.
Won't be the only thing that
Now,
comes
I'll go
up.
back to that stat that Tim Williams shat all over on beers and break evens. Between 60 and 70 minutes, averaging 75.
Was that not one of the great fucking butcherings of all time?
Proper brain
that was
aneurysm.
so good.
I actually still hope he's okay. So, Timmy, if you're watching,
Mate, the show finished. He looks at us. He looked at me. He goes, "Geez, you bird shit that one." I'm going, "Are you fucking for real?"
He had me going, because I'm watching it going, hang on, fuck, what have I done here? What have I sent Guru? Oh, no, I've sent him something wrong. But no, I was right.
Yeah, just some of the paddle pop lines.
That's
Best
right.
fucking
That's
work
right.
there.
But I think, look, so coming off an ACL last year, Paddy Carrigan, so he's going to be another preseason past that injury. I think he'll get more minutes. I think they'll lean on him more in this pack. We saw all the footage of him last year with the sound bites of him on the field and how much of a leader he is in this pack. Oh, mate, 70 average.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And he is in that Ruben Cotter mould, as in points. Here he is again. There he is, tackling, running, offloading. Fuck, he is everywhere. And I'm hard as a cat's head.
Marty Tapau worry you at all or not?
Nah, fuck Marty.
Can we cut that up? That
Wow.
was necessary, yeah. I'm sure he deserved that. All right. My 2RF, Jake Trbojevic is one I obviously mentioned before. He's obviously a 2RF, but just to add some more value to Gerbo, I think he gets front row forward too. So I think you're drafting a guy undervalue who's going to get dual in a fucking disgusting front row forward area there.
Yep.
But
I love that play. I really do.
It's huge.
my guys, 2RFs, Egan Butcher becomes very interesting now.
Oh, yeah.
Don't know if he holds the whole year, but in a comp that trades, I think Egan, get him for the first few weeks. Mate, he plays the Dolphin week 1.
Yep.
There's a daily double coming there.
What about his brother?
Well, even Nat, I'll be looking at Nat.
I've always said I think Egan's the better footballer. I reckon it'll be very interesting when they're all fit and everything, when Angus is back, and we do hope that Angus does return.
And Satilli in this middle of the season. I mean, he's come back from the knee, though.
I think Satilli's in a bit of trouble, eh?
Yeah.
I reckon he'll need a new club soon.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
With Wong coming, once this Wong kid gets
Yeah,
minutes,
true.
he's going to explode. So, A lot of mouths to feed there, but I think Egan early, he's very interesting. A name we haven't mentioned, which I'm sure we'll mention in 5'8" is Josh Schuster. We'll talk about him in 5'8".
Yep.
Teague Wilton.
Yeah. So what's your thoughts on this?
I think he will start on the edge. I think he should have started on the edge last year.
Wade Graham looked good
maybe 2 years ago.
Wade Graham looked good at 5'8".
Yeah.
If you go back to last season, you have a look at Sifa Talakai's stat sheet. It all coincides with when Wilton was in that back row. He runs one of the better lines in rugby league, and it creates space for him. Wade, I love him, but I don't think he's what they need on that edge anymore, and I don't think he's what they needed on that edge last year either. So for me,
you got to be looking to the future as well.
100%.
I mean,
and Wade's come out and said the same thing. Yeah. Wade's a smart enough footballer to know that.
Mate, we love Teague. All last year, he was in the top of our waiver lists every week, telling people, go get this bloke.
Well, it's been the last few years, especially because he's always been the handcuff option. Well, not handcuff option, but he's always been the injury protection for Wade Graham.
Yep.
Because he's always been injured over the last few years. And Teague has always been the waiver priority whenever he comes up.
Yeah, he's a quality footballer. I'm very excited about Wilton. I guess the other one is Luke Garner.
Yeah. So are you confident he gets that left edge spot?
Yeah, I want to.
You think he's just not
Oh,
going to
he
run?
100% gets it.
You think he's not going to just run the lines and Targo's going to benefit?
That's the question.
Yeah.
That's the question we need to see. But even, once again, you go back to that 2020 season, I know they're different players, but I had Kikau that year, and Luai used him a lot more than what that player's been used. So, and I just reckon he's good enough to collect points in that side.
100%.
And I think he's not that big intimidating guy that they'll be double marking up on him as well.
Yeah.
So he might have those opportunities in
I think
attack.
he scored like in 80-minute games. I think he averaged like mid-50s off the top of my head, mid-50s, and scored 5 tries like in a Tigers team that was actually absolute dog shit.
Yeah. And they've never utilised him properly. He's never had a ball player that knows how to fucking use him. That left edge for Cronulla, is unreal. Yep. Tim Williams had a stat on Bloke in a bar the other day.
Oh, did he? This would be good.
he got this one right, which was good. It was very cute. Who do you reckon led the league last year for try contributions? Led the league, and by a good whack too.
Oh, God.
Plays for Cronulla.
Oh, Moiser.
Yeah, right.
So, as we know, through wingers and Talakai and all them.
How are you feeling down there talking about...
I think my Moiser period is over.
Oh, no. Say it
Just when he comes good.
Say it ain't
Moiser's
so.
like, I don't know, like a teenager's Avril Lavigne. It was then. It was great.
Leave it in the past, eh?
So Leonardo DiCaprio.
You've heard me enough.
Leonardo DiCaprio with 26-year-olds.
That's it. Yeah. I will draft him again, though. All right. Are we done with 2 RFs there?
Yeah.
Hooker. I reckon there's going to be a real common guy here. Which one of you wants to start?
Well, I think we're going to go for brothers.
I love that. I'm going for a brother.
I'm going
for the other brother.
Yeah, the brother from the same mother.
Start with Blake then, whichever one's going Blake.
I'm on Blake.
He's
Blake.
Team Blake.
I like them both. I think both of them are up for a little bit of an uptick this year. I just love what I saw from Blake last year with his running game. And what I love about this Sharks team is they're so dangerous across the entire field that it spreads the defence. And when it spreads the defence, you get one-on-ones with some of these big boys that are going to get fucking more minutes for the Sharks pack. Ueli, Royce Hunt, tell me who in this league is strong enough and good enough to stop Royce Hunt one-on-one close to the line.
Not many.
There ain't nobody.
Not many, if
any. And Blake knows how to use these big boys close to line. So I think the running game goes up. I think the base will probably improve a little bit. That's where Jaden's got his brother. Jaden's base is unbelievable.
Yep.
His power base.
But his upside, Blake, I think is better than Jaden's. And I've just got a rule of thumb where I always take upside. But I do like Jaden. I like them both, but I would go Blake.
I just find with Blake, and I'm going completely off vibe here over the last few years.
Love it.
He has just got such a flaw.
Yeah.
He has got his 25s and 30s. And I watch games of football and go, fuck, he had a good game. And I look at scores and go,
It
fuck.
did fix itself a little bit last season.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
it sort of edged up. Still wasn't great. You know, he did have a low 40 in him every now and then, but it wasn't those 30s and 20s, which I'm hoping will fix itself again next year with the base. If he can get that base right, and if he can get up around the 50 tackles, and if he can get a solid base of 40 to 45 and work from there, and then add that upside on top of that, I think you could see a 65 averaging hooker.
Yeah, good shout on Beta Brayley. Let's go with the alpha.
Yeah, I'm going Jaden.
Here we go.
Look, the power base is there.
Holding each other's dicks again.
He's second year back from his knee injury. He's going to be returning with a bit of additional output. Look, I think performance-wise, he's going to be up there. I think in a more improved spine for the Knights as well. We obviously don't really know how they're going to perform on the park, but he's definitely one that I'm excited about. There's going to be huge opportunities for him, for both the Saifiti brothers are try-scoring threats. Then you've got a few big blokes on the bench. So Hetherington, when he does come back, and a few others. And look, I feel like you mentioned about the ceiling. I think the ceiling for both of them might end up being about the same. And I think it's the floor that's going to be massively differential between the two.
Yeah, I agree. And I also think that our Brayley's got a little bit more in him attacking wise. So I think
I was surprised that they let him go. And
so was I. Interestingly enough, I was watching the Sharks SG Ball last week, and guess who their hooker is?
Another
Taj Brayley.
Yeah.
The brother, yeah.
Who, from the one game I saw, he looks to be the silkiest and the most skillful of them, I think.
Oh,
I'm not
really?
going to be upset if I get either of them.
Yep.
Like, Jaden's, him coming back from that Achilles and what he put out in the park at the back end of that season is nothing short of amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it was fucking unbelievable.
Blake won't be for me, but Jaden will be. I'll be looking at him. But I don't think Blake's a bad option.
No, and I honestly think people will take Jaden before Blake.
I think they definitely should, personally.
So they should.
And that's value for me.
Yeah.
Because I think they'll average
That's
pretty
fair.
similar.
Yeah. I'm team Jaden Brayley every day of the week. So to find someone else to touch on.
That was really cute, you
That
two.
was cute. I think whoever I touch on could probably slip into sleeper category realistically with hooker. So I might leave it for now because I think it's more important to talk about them there. So, but once again, I think when it comes to hookers, if you don't have a Grant or a Cook, maybe a Robson, fuck it. Unless you can get a Brayley good value, leave it.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah,
100%.
Definitely.
I just think the other thing on Jaden before we move off him, I thought that Newcastle trial on the weekend, when he went off the field, they went to fucking shambles.
Yeah.
That was an absolute shit show once he was off the field. They lost all direction. So I don't think there's a world where they can't play him for 80.
Oh, it has to.
Well, they don't really have any other options. They got rid of Randall and all that. It's like they've set themselves up for him to play 80.
They're probably the only two cemented 80-minute hookers.
Yeah,
at the moment.
Around.
At the moment, you know what I mean? Like, there's uncertainty around Marnie and whether he'll play 80. Damien Cook getting a little bit longer in the tooth. Harry Grant, does he play 80 or do they use him with that 60s sort of? I reckon it's the Brayley brothers are the most confident.
And I think the beauty of them is too that neither's going to play Origin.
Yeah.
So you're going to have them all year. I think that people at home might be going, what about Kurt Mann? My understanding is, which is interesting, Kurt Mann's going to come on and play 13.
100% he will.
Adam Elliott's going to shift to the edge for a little bit.
Yep.
All right.
So
Left edge.
I think so. Yeah. So not stoked about Adam Elliott not being in the middle, but he gets KP's edge there.
Oh, that's pretty good. Like,
Could be a
makes Adam Elliott very interesting.
The back row,
It could be a bit up and down, but
I know you're big on Elliott.
I like a bit earlier.
I love Elliott.
Like,
He's a good footballer.
Very good footballer.
All right. Anything else on hookers?
Don't rush on him.
Yeah. Good point.
Don't play too much. Pay too much for him.
5'8". I'm going to start. I
to
know
me.
that you two won't go with mine. I've already said him, Jerome Luai. I think he's the guy to grab a bit of value.
So mine is. You know, go.
No, I'm done. I've already said my piece.
In all honesty, I don't know what it is about him. I just don't want him in my team.
So
whatever.
I'm not a hater. I just think that he is a fantastic footballer, but I just don't think it will translate to really high octane output in Supercoach.
Yep, fair.
I get what you're saying though. It does make sense.
Yeah. And I mean, if you have a look at the numbers, I reckon you'd flip a little.
I just can't have him in my team. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well,
He's just one of those guys.
I'm not saying pick him as a good bloke.
Yeah.
But
sometimes I do that.
as a value guy, and I think for that, a lot of people will let him go late.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
a lot of people will just go, no thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And
what I'll do.
that's where I reckon
No
your real
dickheads
value's
policy
gonna be.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, not fair.
I'd actually take Ezra Mam ahead of him, personally. I think Ezra's
Bronco. Shock me.
Yeah. Only dickhead policy.
A Bronco player.
Yeah.
Wow.
Take us away, one of you.
So I'll go first. Adam Dwayne.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he is in for a massive output. So similar to my last pick, after speaking to physio,
Physio sucked his dick.
he was all about Dewey. Now, I was following him real closely because I had him in one of my leagues last season, just about his rehab and all that sort of stuff. Full preseason, coming back from that injury, his output is going to be up through the roof. His options outside of him and his service are going to go up through the roof. Like, everything apart from the fullback position is looking a treat for them at the moment. Has there been any news about who's going to be the fullback, do we think? They can't be going Staines, surely.
Surely not.
I
I think he
after
actually
that
is
first
still a
trial.
stain on the ground. So
I think this weekend they've named Dane Laurie. Staines coming off the bench. I actually thought in their game the other week the team was awful, but I thought Staines did okay at fullback. But I would still go Dane Laurie 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
But like he averaged in 2021, what he averaged 81 in a shit team, and then he came back from that ACL and averaged like 76 in 80-minute games or something.
In 80-minute
crazy.
games, yeah.
Yeah.
So his 59 went up to like a 76 when he was actually playing full game.
And it's not a great attacking. It wasn't a great attacking team, so it's like he was getting from those points just all off his own bat.
You add in Appy to that. You add in
Service.
Bateman next to him. Fuck.
Bateman will be interesting, whether he's a positive or a negative for him, I think.
Where do you
You
think?
reckon?
Do you think Bateman's going to play edge or?
That's where I would play him. I'm hearing 13, but I don't know how you can possibly pick a guy at 13 when he's not in the fucking country for any of your preseason.
Yeah.
So I can't see them doing that. Maybe someone told me about 4 weeks ago that he was going to play 13, but I don't know if they thought he'd be here by now.
Well, the good thing is putting him at 13 gives them another middle forward, and they absolutely need another middle forward, don't they?
Yeah. With Johnny Bateman, he's a very ball dominant back rower. I just wonder, realistically, Adam Dewey, he's run or cut out to the winger, whether it's on or not. I wonder how that relationship will play out between those.
It's
two.
a tough one because, like you mentioned, like having no preseason with Bateman, the combination might take a few weeks to stick.
Yeah.
If it does.
Dewey's never really used his back rowers that well, ever. He's not a 5'8". He's a footballer.
He just
He's not
seems
a
like
5'8".
one of those unicorn Supercoach players, though.
Yes.
Where do these points come from? Who knows? He gets them.
Yep.
I just think that owning Bateman or him, I reckon it could be frustrating at points.
Yeah.
But they're both quality players.
It would be the most frustrating Stark of all time.
Yes, I think so. Yeah. All right, what do you got?
We're Birdo.
Oh, you went Dewey Burton.
Yep.
The two most talked about in the... Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mate, we were
Mickey Mouse League over there.
we were starting to chat about these two.
Righto, let's go.
Yeah.
Burton.
Yeah, it all rolls downhill. Remember, we're up the top. We started this.
We're spinning the shit. Everyone else is
Put your suits on and pick the two most spoken about players in the fucking league. Unbelievable. Go.
Oh, God. Well, he is, and it's because of Classic. And this is what I worry about, and this happens every year, right? Classic chat ruins draft value.
Yep.
And this is a perfect example of it. Obviously, coming off a 57 average, that's a great pickup in Classic. I still think he's a great pickup in draft. I think you'll have to reach for him, though. But what I'm looking at is Birdo from around about round 9 in that middle of the season where he averaged 64. I think that's where we can start with Birdo. When he was linking up with Fox really well, then obviously he got that injury, and then he played the back end of the season. I think it was a foot injury or something.
Yeah.
And that was like an injury cloud for the rest of the season, which really hurt his average, which I think is what gave us the value that we're seeing now with their 57 average. Only had 16 assists. I honestly think he can put 8 on that.
I think he can as well. I do think there's a couple of things to watch with Burton. And I'm sort of playing devil's advocate, to be honest with you. I think he will be good. Serraldo, the head coach, is obviously there when they use Kickow as that extra ball player out there who stole points off Luai last year. Do wonder if maybe there could be points taken off there. The other thing to watch is who's going to goal kick there. Flano kicked on the weekend, hit him very well. We'll know that this weekend, I think. I think it will be Burton, but that's another thing to watch.
He is the future of the club.
As I said, I'm playing devil's advocate, things to watch. But I agree. I think in Classic at the moment, I've got Burton over Dewey. But I think there's things to watch there with both of them for sure.
Yep.
All right. Halfbacks.
Halfbacks. I'll kick it off.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'll kick it off. Well, I think we've talked enough about Jerome Hughes and how much we love him.
Yes.
So I'll talk about someone else. I do like Sam Walker.
Yeah, I like that pick.
59 average. Towards the back end of the season, he averaged 73. And it's the same thing for a lot of these Roosters players. When everything was settled, you know, the edges were settled with the halves, who's playing halfback, who's playing 5'8", everything was settled. The injuries started to cease, and the Roosters started playing some really physical football up the middle. Hargraves, Lodge, they were just smashing teams, and it was giving the halves a lot of space, and everyone played well off the back of that. 73 average for Sam Walker. I don't think he'll average that, but I think he can at least average 65. And in this Roosters team that I think will just punish teams this year. Goal-kicking halfback. I mean, probably not a lot of value out there because everyone's big on the Roosters.
Yeah.
Well, and plus, there's not much opportunity to get another
it's
halfback.
it's shallow but
position.
I'm happy to draft him at that sort of low 60s to mid 60s. If that's a reach, it's a reach.
Oh, fair.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting with this Roosters side. Like, not everyone can score points.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So it is going to, I don't think someone will miss out majorly, but I just think there will be flows of it.
Yeah, it's going to be feast or famine each week. Yeah.
And I just wonder with Cheese in this side, loves to run from dummy half. Manu, loves
Surely
to run
they're
from
cutting
dummy
that out of
half.
his game, Cheese, which is a reason why I don't really like him.
Can't do anything else. He's
Yeah.
not a great passer. He's not.
No.
He's got a terrible pass off the ground.
I will say on the weekend, not sure if you saw the try assist he threw to Radley. That was by far and away the best pass I've ever seen him throw.
Yep.
So I think it's improving. But I think if you're buying Cheese and telling him not to run from dummy half,
Yeah.
Why would you buy him then?
I just think they'll play very power forward through the middle early.
He only had 15 assists, Sam Walker.
Yeah, it's not that many when
No.
you think about how much they'll win by. But like I remember I was at the game they beat the Tigers by 70 points.
Yep.
I think he had one try assist in that game.
Yeah.
That was an example of a game where the ball just didn't go to him.
Yep.
He scored fucking 45 points in goals, thankfully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But which he'll have those games
And that's
as well.
the thing. Like he will be goal kicking.
Yeah.
So, and he kicks him at a fair clip now.
He's improved out of sight.
He was absolutely I think he was in the 60s.
He was falling short.
Yeah.
And the big thing's confidence for this kid.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like another
he's still young.
preseason. Yeah, he's a
still
baby.
young.
He's a baby, so he'll be sweet.
I mean, like he's a baby with almost 40 games under his belt.
Yeah.
Which is scary.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think we've got to keep a close eye on Sam Walker. That
He's the future of the Maroons.
future of the moment, like he could be a future all-time point scorer.
And like, what did he come into the league at? Like 75 kilos? Like he was
75
Ringing
kilos, and the year before he didn't play junior rep footy because it was cancelled by COVID.
Yeah.
Just came in and did what he did. Like he's a freak.
It's just a trajectory.
he
It's just going
is-
to keep going up.
He's the example that people use. Why we need a draft. He wouldn't be this. Like I don't think he'd be the same player if he wasn't at the Roosters.
Yeah.
I think that's a classic example of a prodigy being in the right place.
Yeah,
Yep.
right place, right time.
Yep.
Who's your 7?
My 7, I go on Jamal Fogarty. I think coming back, he had an interrupted pre-season last year. Didn't start until I think it was round 13 maybe.
It all changed after that.
It all changed. So I think towards the back end of the season, we saw what he was actually capable of. And I think that having the full preseason, getting the combinations right, obviously the second year at the club as well, it's I think all the signs are pointing to absolutely smash that 62 and a half average.
I think the Canberra Raiders turnaround last year coincided obviously with Tapane hitting incredible form. And I think he got all the attention. I thought Fogarty was massive.
I think
Huge.
I think more of it was Fogarty
agree.
rather than Tapane. I think his increase for the team helped Tapane get to where he got.
Yeah,
So I'm huge on Jamal, and I think Titans were fucking idiots for letting him go. But that being said, I'm all about him this season, and I'd be drafting him probably ahead of Walker. Firstly, only because of the coefficient of variance.
Cool story, bro.
Because I think he's going to be a real roller coaster through the season.
The one thing with Fogarty is, which blows my mind, is it's a 63 average. But how many assists did he have? 10?
Yeah, he can put another 10 on that easy. He can
It's
put
like
15 on that.
Where did this 63 average come from?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to do much to get into that 65 plus.
And I mean, that's also, like, he didn't have a preseason at his new club.
No,
100%. Yeah, no,
And like he comes in. Schneider was actually going half decent as well, so it wasn't exactly a foregone conclusion that he'd start and they wouldn't like ease him back in.
Yeah.
So look,
Raiders'
he
strength
came
of
back.
schedule is fucking beautiful.
Yeah, it's not
from,
bad
from literally
for the whole season.
yeah,
pretty much.
from round 9 all the way through to round 26. It is top 4
I think they play the least amount of top 8 teams from last year, don't they?
Sexy.
They've got an absolutely cream run.
And he's a sharpshooter.
Yeah.
It's all it looks good for Fogarty.
Yeah.
7-2 goal kick we love, and I'm going to throw one at you.
Yo.
He's going to improve his average by 12 points this year. Nathan Cleary.
By 12.
He's my boom. I think he goes to about 90, 92 this year.
Yep.
I don't push back on that at all.
No, you can't.
Our predicted average on the Patreon rankings was 90.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I 100% agree. And look, similar to what we were speaking about before with a bit more direction moving and shifting across to the right, it's obviously going to help him. He's going to play a bit more both sides of the ruck as well, I think. He might shift across. And
I think he will.
And that is going to be tasty.
Yeah.
Super tasty.
I also just think when games are tighter, that's when Nath runs. And that's where he's
so dangerous.
Yeah.
It's
He
similar.
plays both sides of the ruck.
Like
It's over.
all over it or over. It's gone. They're gone.
Jesus.
Goal kick in that team, it's too good.
We could be talking 95 plus.
Oh, well, there's a good chance I've gone unders here.
Yep.
I think he's going to
hugely.
have a mammoth season. I think he's another guy who's coming back from a World Cup as a Kangaroos halfback now.
If you're
cut
fir-
out ball across Luai's face. Don't put him.
If you've got the opportunity to pick your spot in the draft, if you don't go pick number 1 and get Cleary, you're an idiot. Dead set, flog.
I think you got to also keep in mind that this is essentially Nate's first preseason in 3 years where he's been fully fit.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's been ready
He's
to
had the
come back.
niggles on everything.
Yep. And granted, he's coming off the World Cup, so he had a shorter break and whatever. But fuck, I just think this kid is the next
Yep.
Yeah.
guy for the next 10 years. So, I'm going to back him in for a 90. I might be a little bit biased as I'm obviously going to have him in SuperCoach this year, but I just think...
I think Cleary's going to be the only thing keeping Sammy Walker out of the Kangaroos jersey
Kangaroo side. Yeah. And I mean, you have a look
for his
at...
whole career.
Like, he averaged 80 last year, and you've got games in there 34, 57, 40. Like, a number of games there was pretty disappointing. That's also including a 4-point game when he got sent off.
Yeah, so you take that out, it's an 86 average, which puts him level pegging with Hines.
Yep.
Um,
So 90's a 4-point jump, realistically.
Nothing.
Yeah. I just think with that be gone, you got Mitch Kenny coming in, who his will just be pass off the deck,
He's just going
do
to be
what Nate
distributor.
says.
Yeah.
And I personally think that Sonny Luke, he's got attacking upside, but I still think this will be Nate's team.
Yep.
He'll be taking charge. So
You might see him play corridors sort of in their own 50 or a little bit shorter, say 30 on the other side. But once they're in the inside 20 and they're attacking the line, you'll see him everywhere. I can just see him being that sort of Joey Johns where he's over here and all of a sudden he's
pops up.
sprinting across to the left and going, give me the fucking ball and just taking ownership.
yeah, I think he's in for a
Arousing.
huge year. Huge year. I think this will be the year he takes home a Dally M2. I think he's been close twice, been unlucky.
Yep.
I think this will be the year for Nate. So there is not an argument you could possibly make to me not to take him, pick number 1.
No,
any fucking
please.
comp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think another boom candidate would have been DCE as well.
If Turbo stays fit.
If Turbo.
If Turbo's fit, yeah. So it's the only thing with him, isn't it? You need Turbo on the side.
I mean, the whole side, it's so related to Turbo.
Yeah.
I think it's a 10-point. I did this stat. I think it's a 10-point swing. So DCE without Turbo is like mid-60s.
Yeah.
And then
Actually,
he averages 75.
I think
with Turbo.
Garrick might be the only one who isn't as effective because when Turbo's injured, he might not be getting all those sweet little plays on the wing. He'll be playing fullback, and he'll be getting the fullback points and the goal kicking.
What's going on there? Is he playing centre?
He's
He's been named
so I
at
would
wing,
say
hasn't
no.
he?
Yeah, so
No, he'll
Is that Ducks and Drapes?
he'll eventually be shifting to centre. Eventually, whether it's this season, well, there was word that it might be this season because he's been doing a lot of training drills and stuff at centre. But it's looking more and more like they'll just be running him out on the wing.
I'm not buying it. I think he'll stay on the wing.
Yeah.
Forever. I don't see him moving to centre.
I thought it was crazy when the whispers were going around at the start. I was like, what do you mean?
In saying that, I thought it was crazy when they were going to play Val Holmes at centre as well.
Yeah, that's true.
It has worked though.
Mate, 100% it has
Yeah.
worked. Yeah. So can't rule it out,
No.
but I don't know.
I think watch this space when Saab comes back because you got Tuapolotu and you got Saab. I think shifting to centres, that left centre spot is not out
fair
of this
shout.
world.
Interesting to watch anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be as confident drafting him this year as previous.
No, not
for
not
me.
at all.
No, he's definitely slipped down the ranks
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. CTWs. I've got a Penrith boy. Anyone else got Panthers?
Yeah, I think we've all got Panthers, don't we?
No.
No.
Who you got?
Greggy Mazu.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, I like
The
that.
beast.
The beast.
I just love this guy. Again, another man crush.
Well, you couldn't make a tackle
Value.
either, so.
Yeah, you do. Exactly. When you just run over blokes, 6.9 tackle breaks a game.
Yeah.
Those are the arousing stats that we want in our SuperCoach players, gentlemen. And he's got them in spades. 55 average. He also had an injury-affected game. Take that out. It's a 58. Already got value there.
Yep.
You add in KP. If you're a believer in KP, we know what one of KP's biggest weapons is his right to left pass, cut out to his winger. Edric Lee, I did have this stat. Edric Lee scored 14 tries in 16 games on the left edge for the Knights. That's Edric Lee.
Yeah.
So I honestly think the Beast could go mid-60s.
Only thing standing in Greg Marshew's way is Greg Marshew.
Yeah. And you think, because those mistakes, those missed tackles, those positional plays, they're all fixable.
Yep.
It's an attitude thing. He needs to put his head down, needs to work, and I'm sure he's been doing that. So it's only upwards here for Big Greggy.
I think another beneficiary of that that hire is going to be Bradman Best. I think we haven't seen the best of Best.
He's been working on that one in the mirror.
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
As soon as I said it, I was like, fuck, I'm going to sound like an absolute twat.
Correct?
Your Honour. No, I do think we'll see the best of Best this season. And look, he's an incredible player with some insane potential.
He's been injured for 3 years too.
But that's the thing.
He's been injured for 8 years. Started when he was
He's been
15.
playing with Niggles.
Yeah.
If he can stay injury-free this season, I think, fuck, he's at... Oh, well, I'll be talking about him later, but my God, I'm impressed with him.
Yeah, I think I'd rather leave Bradman until I feel like he can get through the season.
Yeah,
He's just...
he's not one that I'd be throwing a heavy pick at, but he's one to keep on your waiver schedule.
Who's your Panther?
My Panther, Brian Tyler. Bizarre. Look,
Boring. Boring.
So look, average 59. If he can get above, 59, mate, I reckon he can hit the heights of the season before where he got 84. Look, he has shifted sides, but I also think their attack is going to shift sides a little bit as well. So he consistently had those problems with his was it his knee or lower leg, and look, one of the things that really suffered with him were his base stats. So he obviously didn't score as many tries. So in 2021, he scored 14 tries in 18 games. 2022, last season, 8 tries in 15 games. So pretty much the same amount of games, half the tries. And it's the runs per game as well that really dropped off. So he had 4.5 less runs per game, but also his efficiency with running as well dropped. So he went from getting 6.3 tackle breaks per game down to 4. So the efficiency with his running game was down. So overall, his base stats and his power base just dropped massively. So an uptick in both of those and the attacking stats as well. I think, mate, he's going to be going north of 75, north of 80.
You got his shoe size over there or what? Fucking hell. How good was that? If you're not signed up to the Patreon after that, I can't help you.
He went like this. I just blacked out. What happened?
I don't know. All I'm seeing is just ones and zeros.
That was impressive. I was going to bag you at the start, but it was about 6 minutes ago. That was very fucking good. My CTW is Isaac Tungo. I've already sort of explained this. I think he's in for a big uptick.
I love this.
Don't quite have the Rain Man numbers to back it up. I've just got a vibe. But once again, I think that if you're looking at Isaac Tungo like I am, you need to watch this World Club Challenge.
Yep.
I reckon they'll play their full side for about 40 or 50 minutes. It's going to be hot as fuck out there. Every time they go down that left edge, you need to be watching it closely, how they're utilising it, or listen to one of us peanuts next week. So we can
Absolutely.
That's going to be very important. Fullback. I'm going to go Kalen. He's my boy.
I like this more and more.
Yeah,
I really do.
I've got him as my sleeper, so I'll touch on him a bit later. But he's definitely one.
Okay, let's save KP then. Who are you got?
Mine's boring, Turbo. He hasn't moved.
You should just type in top players for each position.
I will preface this saying the reason I'm saying him here is he is a solid pick 3 for me. I don't care. I'm picking him 3 overall. Cleary, Hines, Turbo.
Wait. You bagged us a couple of picks ago.
Yeah, I'll bag
for
you
going boring.
Continually, and I'll continue to bag you. I'll bag you in 5 minutes, maybe 30 seconds.
Thanks for that.
All right,
that was
good.
good. That was
awesome.
a really good addition.
Yep,
What do you got, mate?
I'm going actually as the
Let's see if you
boom
can find someone
suggests,
more obvious.
Will Kennedy. Definitely not what everyone was expecting, but
No.
look, he had 2 games.
You did go Nathan Cleary. Fuck off.
I think we hit a nerve.
I
That was a little finger point that came out
Come
there.
on, mate.
Hang on. He
Come
just
on,
picked
mate.
Sorry,
Nathan
Ward.
Cleary.
Sorry.
Calm
Keep
down.
going,
That's right.
mate.
There you go. Go, mate.
So
Contract.
average,
You got a
average,
dinosaur on the loose.
average of 51.9. Look, he had a -2 and a -10 in his average from last year. Somehow, he so one of them he got sent off, another one he got injured part of the way through the game, played out the game and did fuck all. You take those 2 out, he bumps up to a 59 average. You look back at his stats from the previous season, so 2021. He brings up his base average by a couple of points, so that's already a bit of an uptick. His base power, it's 4 points. So, and then it's the try scoring. And I think, like realistically, in that team, there's not going to be that many points shared around. So I don't think the uptick in the tries is really going to matter that much. But from a 51 average, he is going to be super valuable. He's going to be left on the table so late in drafts. And I think that's the reason why I'm looking at him.
I think if you go on Will Kennedy, you'd want to make sure you got yourself a fucking good hooker, halfback, or 5'8". I just don't think he's got that star power. So
No. If you've slept on your fullback position, so if you're coming to your round 4 in your draft and you're like, oh fuck, where do I go from here? I've got these awesome halves and a couple of good strike TRFs. What do I do now? I think Will Kennedy's a great option. He'll get you about a 60 to 65 average without breaking the bank.
And I think that's where if you were to get a really good halfback, a really good 5'8", pick up Will Kennedy and just fuck hooker off.
Yep.
I think that'd be
100%.
Exactly right.
You'd much rather be
Exactly
doing that.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think he will go late. I think people will sleep on him a little bit. I like that one.
Who's yours? Tedesco?
No, I got KP. I got KP for this one, mate. Left Teddy out. I was going to go Turbo, but... KP,
Yeah.
have you got him in sleepers?
I've got him as a sleeper.
Let's touch on him there because
Yeah,
I think that might be a better place for him.
Yep.
All right, so they are our booms done and dusted, the guys that really impress us. We're going to have a look at our busts now, so guys to try and steer clear of. Front row forwards, I could write down 60 names here, but
I'm going to just say all of them.
all of them.
Yeah.
I'm going to
fly through this. What do you got?
I'm going to go for one of Natty's boom candidates when we're running through, Rhea Hargreaves.
Oh, yeah.
So that was one of the absolute brain fades from him. But yeah, I just think he's a bit long in the tooth. He's going to still have his awesome power game, but it's definitely not one that I'm looking at for SuperCoach perspective anyway. Heaps valuable on the
Explain
field.
that one?
Jared did tell me he was healthy, so
Hasn't it just come out that he's had a niggle?
thanks, Jay. Anyway,
Oh, you know the big fella, don't you?
He's a sensational
Yeah.
player, but not for SuperCoach this season.
be honest, look, the reason why I liked him is it's most likely his last season at the Roosters has been a big, steadfast name in the Roosters system. They're going to miss him. And if you think he's not going to go all out in this season, you got rocks in your head. If he can just stay fit, he'll be going fucking hard, and you could probably get him pick 17.
Yeah. I just don't think it's worth like having a punt on a front row forward when there's going to be so many options late in the draft anyway.
Fair. Nah, you got...
Joe Offengowie. So, 61 average from 64 minutes, which tells me everything's in base. You got Clemmer, Bateman, IPAP, Blore, Twal, Udakamano, even that Fanua Pole.
Yep.
So many mouths to feed. I just don't see where 64 minutes comes from. And if you drop those minutes, that average drops with it because it's 100% base.
Yeah.
I am on the exact same avenue. I've gone Clemmer. I don't think he plays as many
No,
minutes.
he's-
So,
Yeah.
But once again, where you're going to have to draft Clemmer, how long he's going to be sitting at the top of your draft list, just let him go.
Yep.
Don't bother with him. We done with that?
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
move
yeah.
on.
Thank fuck.
Yep.
2RF, I'm going Nanai. I'm going to steal him before one of you fuckers does. I just don't think he can emulate what he did last year. I think he will get overdrafted. I mean, what was it, a 68-point average when he scored 1,000 tries? Like,
Yep.
How many from kicks, Matty?
9 from 7. So 9 tries from kicks, scored 17 tries, obviously.
which is incredibly impressive, but Supercoach, it doesn't help you.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. And it's just one of those things in rugby league that it's really hard to replicate.
And you can't tell me teams aren't going to be
They're
having
doing
footage on it.
video up to wazoo.
100%. They're going to be double marking him for kicks. They're going to be positioning like some tall guys around him. Like, he's not going to have the opportunity that he had last season.
You know what he averaged?
Still a fantastic
in
player, though.
games where he didn't play, where he didn't score.
I would guess 34.
A little bit above 43. His base is 38.
That's higher than I thought it would be. But
But
still,
40
where you're going to have to draft him is shitty.
Exactly. 43 without a try is no go for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who you got?
Yeah, Jeremiah Nana.
Oh, right. Good. Well,
Jeremiah and I.
nice to
Moving
know.
on.
Is there anyone else that comes to mind for us that I shouldn't say it's going to be a bust, but I just think, as I said before, I'm not as high on Liam Martin as everyone is, but I couldn't put him in bust category.
No, I don't think he'll bust.
I don't think he'll
but,
bust. Yeah,
Kickout.
Yeah, Kickout's
Yeah.
one that could be disappointing.
Because he had a lot of try involvements as an edge back role, which I just don't think will be there at the Dogs. Yeah, I think he'll drop a little bit. I think he'll have games that he'll be impressive and he'll score well. He just won't be involved as much as he was for the premiership winning team.
I guess the only other one I would say, which is really obvious to us, but for people that are new to draft, which I'm sure there are a lot of people this year, a name like Wade Graham.
Oh, yeah.
Just avoid at all costs.
Just
Just,
so, like-
do a little bit of research.
They're fantastic footballers, and sometimes it's like the Cronk effect. Like, they'll be awesome players, but it doesn't translate to Supercoach. It's actually one of my next picks.
Yeah.
Exactly that. So, yeah.
You want to go? Hooker?
So hooker, Josh Hodgson.
Yep.
So insanely talented player. Going to a new system, I think the reliance on distribution of the footy to very dominant halves, like from what I've seen of Hodgson, it's not his game. So I know that he'll be working in the preseason and there'll be a structure change and all that sort of stuff. But I'm very interested to see how he lines up this weekend, pass the eye test, and see how that team actually functions with a more dominant hooker than Reid has been in past seasons.
He looked dusty on the weekend. I mean, you got to give it to him. It's his first game back, but
No, but like he wasn't obviously playing with the proper halves and all that sort of stuff. So
I also think on the weekend, it was 38 degrees. First game in 12 months.
Yeah.
33 years old.
We'll give him grace.
We'll give
a
you,
little bit of grace,
but I agree with you. He's not a guy I would even consider.
No.
I'd almost draft him based on those bloody pipes though. Jesus,
He's
had an
looking
off
fit,
season.
and that's what has me intrigued. I wouldn't say I'm keen, but Timmy Williams seems very keen. He'll play 80 reasonably soon, so I don't know if he knows more if that's just the Canberra Raider in him. But even still, I doesn't tickle my interest.
Really, 80 minutes? That's crazy.
He's a bit long in the tooth though. I'd be surprised.
I'm with you guys. I completely agree. I don't think he could. I don't think he's got.
Do you reckon they'd take maybe Arthur on the bench because I know he loves to play his son, and maybe play. Does he have it in him to play a bit of hooker?
Oh, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But that's where even if you don't go Jakey Arthur, the only other one is Mitch Rain.
His best years
Is it
behind him.
worth carrying Mitch Rain to bring him on for 20?
He's just as old.
So he'll be in a void for me if he works out for someone. Credit to you.
Yeah,
Enjoy it. What do you got, Hookers, mate?
Oh, Damien Cook. Not a bust in the sense that, don't draft him. He's a terrible hooker. He'll obviously play well. He'll average well. He just won't average 75.
Yep.
Off that 75, he's a top 10 player. I wouldn't be looking at Cook until maybe mid round 2, back end of round 2, so picks 15 plus. I think he could easily drop 5 to 8 points on his average. A little bit longer in the tooth, obviously. These 80-minute hookers are a dying breed. Does he play 80 minutes? We saw how New South Wales used Cookie and Appy, how successful that was. Just don't think he's going to reach that 75 heights.
Yeah.
Simple.
Premiership winning team last year, both Origins and Kangaroos, 2 hookers.
Yep.
Yep.
So, yeah, I just think if you're taking Cook with your round 1 or round 2, you're probably not made of the right stuff to me.
Yeah. No, I agree.
He'll keep you relevant.
Yep.
You ain't going to win it,
No.
in my opinion.
I agree.
No.
I've got 2 hookers. I won't go into too much depth. Appy, I just think at the Tigers, I just don't trust that system.
Different,
What's going to happen there?
different system.
Too many question marks.
Yeah, just too many worries. And the other one I want to touch on is a guy that was really good. I got him picked 16 last year. He averaged high 50s. Jeremy Marshall King. He arrives at the Dolphins. I think he'll be a guy that people will look at late and go, I could do worse, which you could. But
Yeah, but he's going to be carrying Cody Nikorima on the bench.
Bennett
And
is
gonna
the
be
killer
eating up his
for
minutes.
hookers and their SuperCoach output.
Yeah.
You
When
can
is the
clip
last-
that up because
when-
that is the truth.
Yeah.
When has Bennett had a good SuperCoach relevant hooker? He hasn't.
you look back at the comps that he's won. He had Dean Young, who was a back rower, he turned into a hooker. The one before that was Sean Berrigan, who was a centre fucking 10 weeks before he won Clive Churchill at hooker. He just doesn't value nines, I don't think.
No, he stifled Cookie's game.
Yep,
and that was,
100%.
and everyone thought that was an impossible feat because Cookie was at the top of his game.
When he came across,
And he managed it.
When he came across from the Doggies, he was electric and just shut up shop almost.
Yeah, so Jeremy Marshall King, I don't
that's
think he
a
was
good
a guy that anyone was tipping for a big season, but I think he was a guy that people thought they could get.
Well, he's coming off a
Late
58 average.
Mate,
so people he's going to be sliding up in a lot of people's pre-draft lists.
100% he will. Yep.
Yeah.
Trap City.
Trap City,
Yep.
bitch.
Less of that.
Sorry.
I was waiting for you to chime in.
Oh, that was good. Less of that with the point. Wow, savage. I love that.
I apologise for that. You didn't deserve that.
Less of that.
Less of that,
man.
Chief.
Rattle me.
Wow, that was
Wolf,
good.
give us a 5'8", mate.
So I'm not saying that he's going to be a bust. Dill Brown, I just think that
Weird you put him in your bus category.
well, I think he's not going to achieve his average from last
Got him in
season.
the corner, haven't you?
He's going to go 70.
Yep.
I think coming off the 76 that he had last year, or was it 74?
Either or. Yeah.
Either. I just don't think he performed out of his skin last year. Okay. I think changes to his service that he's going to get, and I think the changes to the opportunities that he'll get, because I think Hodgson likes to take his own stamp on the game. It's going to be 1 or 2 plays in the set that are not going to be going and distributed to the 2 halves, and I think that's one of the key factors where I think both him and Moses are going to be impacted.
I'm not calling any of the Parramatta spine busts, but I'm with you. I'm not going near them because I just don't know how it's going to look.
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them will have some sort of regression.
Yeah, because I think it's not
Career
it's not-
years. Most of them.
I don't think it's the output overall that's going to suffer. I think it's individual output because they're just not going to get the plays.
I will say this, and Tim had me thinking about it the other day. He made a good point that, everyone says, Parramatta, they went to a grand final, they were that team. You think about the entire regular season last year, how
so
well
up and down.
they were so fucking inconsistent. If they can find, a patch of good footy where they are consistent, I can
It's their
understand
DNA
they're
though,
interesting.
isn't it?
That's exactly it. Yeah. And that's
Who they
why-
are.
Yeah. But, maybe an older head like Josh Hodgson, if everything goes right, he might be
Yep.
the right guy. But as you said, too many question marks to go near any of those
And
guys.
we touched on it at the start of the podcast with the top 10s. With that 74 average, he's in there, and I don't think he'll be there.
Yeah. 5'8".
It's around the eye. Just pure vibe. I just don't like him.
Fair. We'll talk about this in a few weeks, I think. Very, very excited.
Oh, I can smell
Oh,
it.
can I smell a bet
I
out
can
of you
smell-
two?
I can smell a bet.
What do you talk to me? What do you think?
Yeah,
What did he average last year?
56. What do you think he'll average?
I just don't think he'll drop that much further.
Yeah, I'll take him for a 62. What do you want more?
That's fine. I'll say you won't.
Okay, 62. Scunja?
Yep. Done.
It's on.
It's the easiest bet I've ever made.
Love that. Okay.
Jesus.
My 5'8", probably not the most exciting pick. And I don't think he goes score-wise worse than what he did last year. I think he stays the same, but I think he gets overdrafted. Cody Walker. Just the role that he plays in his team.
You don't think he's going to outscore 56?
No.
Wow.
He doesn't get points for what he does anymore. He's the Adam Reynolds of that team. He's
Yep.
if you got points
But
for try contributions, it'd be unreal.
But don't you think that another year under his belt with Ilias is going to have
the
a
problem.
bit.
It's Latrell's the problem. 56 might be overs because he got to play half the year without Latrell taking points off him.
Woohoo! This is
hell.
spicy.
Wow.
Why would they change what they were doing last year? Like once Latrell got in, they could beat anyone.
Yeah.
Why would they change what they were doing?
How old's Cody Walker?
31, 32. So that's the other thing. He's only getting more matured.
thing.
I don't think Cody Walker's playing for Cody Walker.
No, he's playing for the team now.
Cody Walker
he
knows
was
he's got
playing
the
for-
hot hand outside him and he needs to create space for him.
Yeah.
So that's my thought process.
I
there.
love this.
I like that call.
It makes sense. It makes sense. And he will get overdrafted for sure.
100% he will.
Where do you place him pick wise? As you value him, I mean.
As I value him,
Yeah.
I honestly, I think he's
in
around
like the 40s or 50s?
Yeah, I reckon high 40s.
High
I can
40s.
see him going.
Wow.
Yeah.
'Cause I
But
think-
he'll go high because he's a 5'8".
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think based on the potential and like he has some serious octane footy in him.
Yep.
But yeah, if it's being stifled by Latrell, then yeah, it's a
It's
tough
get
one.
the ball to Trell.
Yeah. And
pretty
why wouldn't
simple.
you? Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you? It works.
He's
Look
a
how
dead
far
set
they- yeah.
weapon and it works every
And
time.
because Trell plays both sides of the ruck, Cody Walker's always one pass away from points.
Yep.
yeah.
So I just don't think, and mate, like I had him the year before that. I think he had more try assists than fucking Tim Smith in 05. He averaged 80.
Yeah.
Like everyone saw the average and went, "Oh, that's great." But mate, I was fucking watching him. He was scoring 2 tries a game and getting 75.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like he is just a pass on sort of footballer at the moment. You have a look at his first few games last year, playing 80 minutes when Latrell wasn't there. 27, 17, 59, 51, 10, 44. That was his first 6 games.
It's not great.
Not great.
It's fucking awful.
That's awful. You could find that same stat sheet on the waiver wire.
Yeah. 100.
So I just...
You'd almost be better playing Ilias. Like, yeah.
Heaps more value.
But there is more value. Like there legitimately is more value. I think let Cody Walker be someone else's problem.
I love that. It's a good take.
I'm not
Really, really hot take.
I'm
I
on
like
board.
it.
I'm on board.
Halfback, I'm going to stab my buddy in the back for a similar role as Cody Walker, Jackson Hastings.
Yeah, I've got him too.
Yep.
Yeah. Overhyped.
too.
Oh, sorry, not
Shocked
overhyped.
me. Holding Charles Dix
Overpriced.
again.
I think the fact that he played so many games last season at lock
Yeah.
drove up his season average. And his season average isn't even that great. It's only about 50, 55.
Yep.
Everyone's hyping him to the max because obviously he's solving a lot of problems for the Knights. They've got their halfback, blah, blah, blah. It's going to take a while for that to gel anyway, but he is going to be that Cooper Cronk style of player. So he's not going to be the high octane, scoring points with every play. Like he's just not that type of player.
Everyone's
And-
dick hard over him playing lock. Those are the point. Those are those big games.
Yeah, those are the big games.
Those are the big games,
100%,
yeah.
Everyone's playing lock, so yeah.
So his average, I think it was 4 games where he was averaging like 65, 70.
Oh, yeah.
That's 4 games.
Yeah.
It was back end. You got to remember, like 4 games isn't much, but he was injured for a lot of the year. He didn't play a stack of games.
Yeah.
So it just, and I think you'll find it's interesting that night side. Peter Parr's building it. So he's the guy behind all their signings and everything.
Yeah.
Peter Parr was the guy behind the Cowboys 15 premiership.
He's a very clever man.
Signed Lachlan Coote. He played exclusively down the right edge. I think that's where you'll see Lockie Miller. KP will play left. Jackson will float on both, but all the points will be taken by Miller and KP. In my
Yeah, you
opinion.
don't need Hastings to be an out-and-out weapon. You just need him to steer the team, get him in positions to
you need
score
direction.
points.
They've got the
They've
cattle.
got weapons.
Yeah.
They've got weapons already.
Just
They
got to put him in the right spots.
Yep.
They need him to do what they wanted Pierce to do.
Yep.
Effectively.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jacko, love him as a bloke, but halfback wise, he's a bust for me this year.
Well,
I think
Supercoach wise,
Supercoach-wise,
I
I
think
should say,
Supercoach
yes.
wise, he's definitely a bust. But yeah,
Yep.
I think he's going to have a cracker of a season. But yeah, not Supercoach.
No, thank you. Anyone got anyone else other than
I've gone
Jacko?
Mitch Moses for the exact same reasons that
Yeah.
Wook went Dylan Brown.
Yeah.
So career year for Mitch Moses, which always worries me with blokes coming off career years. He had 26 assists.
Yeah. And I think
screams regression.
I think for him that's maintainable. But man, I'd just be concerned. Like
He had 11 line
team,
breaks.
in a team that had so
So
many,
he made
so many
11 line breaks. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like
And he had IPAP outside him.
exactly.
He had IPAP. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
That's going to be the big regression for him. Is that? Yeah.
So like his ADP at the moment is 14. No.
I hate that stat at the moment. It's
No,
so
no, no,
fucking
no, no,
stupid.
no.
Anyway, You got a halfback or are you?
What's that? I said Jacko.
You Jacko, yep.
Yeah, I'm team Jacko, but not for Supercoach.
The only other one I'd throw out there, and I don't think experienced players won't consider him, but he will be at your top of the list for a long time towards the back end. Will be Sean O'Sullivan.
Yeah.
Another organiser.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Look,
Another Kronk-esque type player.
I think another one that people are hyping up on because of a few of the throbber shots is SJ. So he came out. He is ripped.
Yeah.
Torn.
Is he that bodybuilder that's giving rugby league a go this year?
I think he's
fairy tale stuff.
He is definitely one that's going to get overdrafted.
Wow.
So,
Muscles in his shit.
Yeah. The way you two are hyping up Jerome Hughes, I just want to put him in there, but we'll talk about him soon. CTWs.
Talakai.
Talakai.
Teague Wilton is at 2RF. Talakai is going to be a boom CTW, I think.
You reckon? After everyone was just so all over him over those 2 games where he scored 114 and 165, round 6, round 7.
Yep.
Do you know what he went on to average for the rest of the season?
Do you know who was standing inside him?
47 points.
Yeah.
So
So do you reckon he goes below that?
below 47.
Yeah, or where do you want to sit him?
No, I'm just not drafting him at the 61.
So
mid-50s.
I can stiff a little bet here too.
Yeah, sweet.
What do you reckon, 55?
I'll say he doesn't average 61.
Natty, I think you've had enough beers. Jesus.
Just give me more than 61. Fuck.
Mate, you were agreeing with me when we did the CTW podcast. Isn't it funny now? Hey, he's got his little mate now. He's like, mate. On the podcast, he's like, what a great call, Natty. Really good stats.
Fuck off.
All right, so you got Stiffer. My CTW is going to be whoever lands on the right wing for the Roosters.
Yep.
Yeah.
Joey Manu floats around, fucks around through the middle. They get no attacking ball out there. I think it'll be Jackson Paulo. So I don't think he'll be hugely overdrafted. But
there's such a right dominant team over the years. It is going to be a massive shift.
The reason they were right dominant as well is because they were one of the best aerial targets in the game. That they just went, I'm gonna just kick it up there, and get Suaalii to go get it.
Yeah,
and
it
just won't happen.
But they had BMOS before that as well, and that's where they built such a dominant right side attack.
I don't care who it was on the right wing. I would say, but if it was Suaalii, I'd say bust as well. I just don't. I think you could see at the back end of last year, you can't run shape to a right edge when your centre's fucking at dummy half. You just can't do it. So I think that right wing for the Chooks is a bust.
Yep.
What do you got? Have you already gone?
So he's gone Talakai. I'm going to go Garrick.
Hello. Wake up, Susie. Smell the smell salts.
I'm going to go Garrick. I think he's not going to be a massive bust.
Take my Talakai. You fucking coward. Go.
I don't think he's going to be a massive bust, but I do think there is some regression in his scores. I think, he'll probably slip back to maybe 65 average.
I'll be honest with you, I was talking shit when you said the name. I missed it. Who are you talking about? Garrick. Okay, yep.
Especially with
mate. You okay? You did a breath.
Especially with some of the hype around him playing centre as well. If that does happen, which I'm predicting will only happen once Saab comes back.
Yeah.
Injury.
I had him as my fullback, Garrick.
Yeah. Yeah, he was one of mine at fullback as well.
Yep.
I also think, I think we spoke about it earlier, for fullback, a lot of hype around. Lockie Miller.
Yeah.
He's gonna. I believe he's gonna play one side of the ruck.
I love Lockie Miller, but like I said before, he's only played 6 games, so it is an inflated average coming from a Sharks side that fucking dominated.
I told you this like a couple of weeks ago. Just pump the brakes on him. Yeah, you've listened. Good boy.
No, but the one thing that I'm very keen about with him is his duel. He's that fullback centre wing duel. Which, if you're drafting like a Papi or you're drafting like a Turbo, which they come with a bit of an asterisk next to them as an injury potential issue, they give you a bit of cover. So he's definitely one that I'm looking at for that.
What I'm worried with Miller is if KP's fit and he plays the whole season, he's such a busy player, KP. I'm worried that Lachlan Miller will just be like, fuck, what do I do? Where do I fit in here? Like, do I get in the way? Do I call the ball? Like, it could be a little bit out.
He's not a junior though. He's like 27 years old. He's a seasoned player, so I don't think he'll be overawed. That's one thing. That's because he has played sevens and
Do
shit.
some research for fuck's sake.
Wow. Okay.
It's all right, mate. Get back in your box.
All right, take a seat,
all right,
I'll let you take him, bro, and we'll see how we go.
I think as far as bust fullback, I just can't see a world after this. Obviously, Papi.
Yeah.
He's not who I had written down, but I just think he's an obvious one that we need to call out there. Papi, I agree with the ones that you guys had. There was one more that I thought was interesting.
I haven't gone yet, and I'll go Gutho.
Gutho, yep.
Same reason how we said Dill Edwards, Dylan Brown, and Moses. I just think that there's going to be less attacking opportunities from because of the attack and output that Hodgson's going to try to dominate with. I think there's just going to be a bit of a downshift.
He scored a lot of points, the Eels, last year. He had 33 try involvements for the year.
He had 2.2 try involvements per game.
Yeah.
Per game.
It just can't happen again.
Yeah.
Like, it's outrageous.
Another one I want to throw in there, and I know he's not a superstar, Supercoach wise, but he's a fullback that I think he's going to be very limited this year. Jaden Campbell. Obviously, a lot of hype around him.
He'll be that 14.
He'll be sitting there with a 53-point average at fullback in round 12, 13, 14. He'll be up the top for a lot. I think that even if he does get into this side, I reckon there's a good chance it's at centre or something.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
So he's a big avoid for me.
Yeah.
What's your take on guys like Jermaine Asako and maybe CNK? There's been a bit of talk about both of them getting spots.
Asako,
As long as he's not playing fullback, he can be good.
Yeah.
If he has to do anything to do with
he could be
being
in
in
the
a
worst
defensive
side
spot.
of the league.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
true.
that's if you were to tell me
'Cause
Asako's playing wing for a top 12 side, okay. Like if you told me he's on the wing for Brisbane, I'm more interested.
Yeah.
But at the Dolphins, I just can't.
Because it's
No,
that
that's
argument
fair.
where people go, he'll kick goals. It's like, yeah, but how many?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He is a sharpshooter, though.
He is a sharp ball. Yeah, I think it's been goal kicking that's kept him.
Yeah. I think
Relevant for
CNK,
quite
do
some
you reckon
time.
he's going to play fullback?
I would say almost certainly Metcalf got injured this week. So he's
Yeah.
out for 6 to 8, they reckon. So
Yep.
I think CNK would have been there anyway.
Metcalf's more of a fullback anyway, isn't he?
I think he is.
Yeah.
Copped a pounding in the comments this week, but that was okay. I think he's more of a fullback, but
Okay.
not going to be there anyway. So I think
I'll-
CNK is
I'll
just
let
about
you know
locked
that
in.
one.
Yeah, thank you. I hate sleeping at night anyway. Anything else touch on fullbacks?
No.
Nah,
Move
we're
on.
good.
All right, we're going to dive into sleepers now. Sleepers, so a sleeper, a guy that we think we can get real late value on. And this is, I would argue, probably the most important part.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Heaps to touch on here. Front row forwards, once again, I think we just fly through here.
Yeah. I've gone the Safidi brothers. Obviously, I did this before, watched the game over the weekend. I still think they present value.
Might make them more sleepers.
Yes. And I think it's, when I'm talking sleepers, you might not even have to draft them. If you're first on the waiver priority, just hang about. You don't need to waste picks on front row forwards.
Fuck,
So-
I wish that was my league. God damn it. Give my left nut for a Safidi off the waiver wire. Who you got?
Royce Hunt. Oh,
Royce the choice.
Yep. I just think he'll get more minutes. Back into the season, was getting like 40 minutes, average 70 points. Even if you take those tries away that he got, he still averaged 54 points. I think someone that no one's talking about, someone you can get very late, and I think he'd be a 50 averaging front row forward easy. We try scoring upside.
I cannot believe your boy Blake Laurie hasn't come up. I thought he was fucking tremendous for the Dragons.
He was 100%.
He was.
Unreal.
He hurt us last year, though, with the...
I know, he hurt me too, don't worry.
Yeah.
Jeez, I copped it in
Yeah,
every
so you
Natty was... Natty was...
I still love
sucking
Blake.
it
He's my
left, right,
boy.
and all.
He's my boy. Like,
Yeah.
he'll probably be on my team. Don't worry.
Yep.
I thought he was very good on the weekend. I thought this guy would sleep a little bit. I don't think he will now. Wrote this last week. Stefano from the Tigers. I think everyone's on board now.
Yep.
So
Oh, God,
It's
you
that-
just had to
that
watch
classic.
the highlight clips of the trial.
yeah, and I think that there will be someone at Manly that'll be a good sleeper as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoever
okay.
that is, whether it's a Kepi, a Paseka, one of those
Yep.
guys. But fuck front row forwards. We should get that tattooed on us, I reckon. Should have named the show Fuck Front Row Forwards.
Let's get some t-shirts
Yeah.
made.
Yeah, fuck 'em.
Fuck the
been
props.
To RF, I've mentioned him a couple of times. I've got Gerbo. I just think he'll
Yeah.
get slept on a
I
little
think
bit.
that's going to be a huge take out of this.
Yeah.
That's a massive one.
Unlucky Steve.
Yep.
Joshy Schuster, easy one.
Yeah. I've gone Adam Elliott, and I'm downing on it because of the fact that he might be floating on that edge as well.
I'm
tasty.
going to push back on Schuster. I reckon he'll get overdrafted.
Maybe. And it's that classic.
It's the classic hype, isn't it?
Ruining value.
Yes.
He's coming out in the 200s, 200,000K mark.
Yep.
And
He's a must-have.
He's a
100%
must-have in
Yeah.
classic.
So I just... would it shock you if we get to round 12 and Cooper Johns is the 6? Because it just hasn't...
Not in the slightest. Not in the
Not
slightest.
the way he played the other night.
And I mean, like, when you look at... Even Schuster, when he came in last year and played a bit of 5'8", wasn't impressive.
Yeah.
Supercoach scores were fucking atrocious.
Yeah. It's more when I look back to 2021 and he averaged 61. He still had 8 assists playing on the edge there. I just think...
8 assists and got a 22 average. Good numbers.
Yep. Impressive stuff.
What are you doing? I'm talking about 2021.
Oh, 2021.
Oh, right.
Sorry, mate.
Hello.
What
Listen.
What did he average that season?
61.
Okay.
It's only 40 points in it, though.
It's only 40 points.
Back in your fucking box, pal. That is enough of that.
Any other 2RFs we want to...
Adam Elliott. Yep. Oh, no, we just spoke about him. Yeah.
Holy fuck. Am I the only bloke that's paying attention here? Jesus.
Hello.
I think... We spoke about him before too, but I also reckon Egan Butcher is going to be one that's going to sleep.
It's a good one.
Hookers.
Who have I got?
Yeah.
I've got two guys that I don't think will get a feature. I'll let you guys go first, though.
I was big on Tanner Boyd, but then again, everyone's talking about him in Classic, so it's probably not big value.
He's not really a sleeper then, is he?
But I do love the halfback hooker dual eligibility. If he kicks goals, giving David Fifita the ball, it's all yum.
Yep.
And it might be, like you have to draft him at that round 5, round 6, but that could work out.
But coming off the
anyway.
37 average, he's going to be down in so many people's pre-draft lists, and we know how many people forget to do their pre-draft lists. So
If he didn't have that duel, I think you could sleep on him, but I just think there'll be enough people in comps that know how valuable that duel is.
That dual, halfback hooker, is it the best?
If you're the only one in your draft comp that knows what they're doing, then you'll get good value there.
you're not going to get him past pick 80, I think.
And I know everyone's talking about the back end of the season where he averaged 57. Titans played some absolute bottom dwellers and he smashed all of them. That's whatever, you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
I
it's
just
a slight
think,
inflation.
Yeah, but I think the Titans play better this season, and it all comes down to David Fifita. Like he could be the most destructive weapon for Supercoach again if it all clicks.
How this weekend goes in their trial will determine where
Yep.
you're going to get Tanner Boyd.
Yep.
I think
Yeah, let's hope he.
he's going to come out of this weekend as the most hyped player or a sleeper.
Yep.
One of the two.
Let's hope he has a shocker.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yep.
So I wouldn't put past him.
Yeah, well,
Respectfully to any Titans fans out there. All right, let's. I'm going to chuck mine two in there. Actually, you go first. You go, 'cause I got two.
Aaron Clark. So I think playing in lock, he had his best scores at lock. He's absolutely Supercoach irrelevant if he plays hooker, but the fact that you'll be able to get a lock playing hooker that you'll get pretty late in the draft as well, I like that.
My only worry with Aaron Clark, he played 4 games when he played that real 13 role. He went 84, 74, 46, 35. 4 weeks on the trot. I wonder how he's going to go across 27 weeks. I am a huge fan of Aaron Clark, but I wonder.
He was predominantly being brought on as like a hooker or a bench hooker and all that through the season. So I think having the full preseason and I think having a bit more understanding of his role, I think is going to help massive.
Does he certainly get that lock role?
I think so.
Yeah, he's not
wasn't
named.
named this week. That's what caught my attention.
There's no massive
Yeah,
certainty on it.
Yeah.
but
And
like we're talking late picks here.
But for like
Yeah.
a hooker 2RF duel,
Yeah.
I'm willing to throw like a pick 100 at him.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I also think he is one injury away from being a certainty to play 13.
Yeah.
If he's not likely
Yeah.
already.
Yep.
So yeah, I understand people going, but I just think there are a couple of issues there that people are choosing to
no
ignore
doubt,
with him.
no doubt.
All right, my two are like very late guys, but I think you can get value in these two. Obviously, Sonny Luke, he's going to be one of them. People see him named at 14 and just go, no thanks. I think he plays 50 minutes in a good side with a bit of attacking upside. If you're using a pick 15, 16, 17 on him and he's your starting hooker and he can get you 30, 40 with upside, you never know where he's going to be at the end of the year.
And in smaller leagues, you could dead set have your 17th pick on him because no one's looking at him.
Yep. 100%. My other one, who I think will be very interesting, I'm not super confident on this one. I think there will be value. Jacob Little.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he plays decent minutes. It's going to be hard to watch.
If he stays injury free.
Yes.
That's the only thing. Like, he absolutely nailed it in resis and everything. But he's just had a horrid run with knee injuries and everything.
And you need to draft him in a spot where if he gets injured, it doesn't matter.
Yep. Exactly.
You can't go many higher. But if you do draft him there and he plays the season, I think you got yourself a 45-point hooker there, which isn't fantastic, but you got guys in round fucking 5 getting 55-point hookers.
And there's a shit show in the halves there for the Dragons, and you know, like it looks like he's a steadfast for big minutes at that 9.
I think so. I think he plays 60-odd minutes.
Yep, I agree.
Yep. So Jacob Little, I don't mind him. I reckon I'm a really good chance to get him in my comp.
Oh, yeah.
Just late. 5'8", I had Shoes to have already spoken about him. Who'd you guys have?
Luke Keary, 51's very low. Very, very low. I really like this left edge that's starting to formulate for the Roosters. Suoliti's going to come around. He's going to suck in defenders. You've got Toops out there who's a fantastic finisher, both aerial and finishing in the corner as well. I just see a world. Where's a world where he doesn't beat 51?
Yep. I think it's fair.
He could go 60.
He's a weird SuperCoach player, isn't he?
He is. I just think people will sleep on him. And it's so funny because
there were so many people who were so big on him last season,
and we were low.
And it was always the comparison between Luke Keary as a dual half and then Sam Walker as a dual half.
If you were to take the narratives of Luke Keary at the start of every single season and take the name out of it, you would think they were 5 different guys.
Exactly, yeah.
It just changes every single off-season. It's very hard to get a read
From
on.
round 19 onwards, he averaged 64 across 7 games, including 200-plus games, with 8 assists, 11 line breaks, 2 tries. That's when the Roosters were pumping teams and playing really well, and he was settled. Yeah. Like, I'm not saying he's going to average 64, but that's what he's got in him.
Yeah.
But he's only one bad head knock away from spending like 6 to 10 weeks out.
Yeah, there's a bucket load of those players, though.
Yeah. They're coming along thick and fast, aren't they? So I've got Cody Walker. I honestly think that I think he's going to have a bigger output.
You two
56,
actually disagreeing.
56 points.
It's getting fucking boring.
56 points. I think he does that in his sleep.
Hate when you got more than one bloke with common sense. It's fucking it's fun. Yeah, I mean, I think that he's got the potential to be for sure.
I think it's the same sort of argument as you're putting forward with Luai. I don't think there's anywhere to drop for them. I think that's the dead set floor of what you'd expect from both of those two players. But I think that the upside is more so there for Cody.
I just think the difference is though that like Jerome Luai's situation has changed.
Yeah,
Cody's hasn't. That's my worry.
Yeah.
But like you are still getting a superstar footballer.
Yeah. No, just tell him he's wrong. Don't tiptoe around it. Jesus. What a coward.
And if something, I don't have him there. I had him on my bus, but it feels weird putting him in bus.
Yeah.
Especially
coming off a 56 average. Like, how far can he bust?
Yeah. No. It's fair. Halfbacks. Who have we got?
So I'll just quickly say mine because it's Fogarty. I think he'll slip further than people should be taking him. And I agree with everything that you said. I think he'll have a great season. And just going back to that,
his output's going to go
10
through
assists
the roof,
and he averaged 63. Like, tell me.
If he doesn't put 10 on that by season's end, I'm not here.
10 assists. It's actually... It doesn't compute to me. How did he get that 63 average? But yeah, I think people are sleeping on him. I haven't heard anyone talk about him, and I think he's great value.
I think one that I think will go very late. He is Jewel, and I am solely going on this because Wayne is his coach. MILF. Very, very late sleeper.
Wow.
I've gone a different route. I'm banking on either MILF or SOS shit in the bed, and I've gone Isaiah Katoa as like a sleeper for maybe round 6, because I think if they've lost maybe three out of 4, he might get the opportunity. And he is electric. He is so freaking good. He could be the future of the Dolphins.
Yeah,
for years to come.
I know, and I've been the fucking president of the Katoa fan club. defensively, he is going to get caught out.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's going to come in as quick as
Milf will
people.
get caught out in defence?
But Milf's got Wayne in his corner.
Yeah, that's true.
If one of them goes, I think it will
Very
be Sean
true.
O'Sullivan
Very
for him.
true.
That's why I like Milf as a sleeper, and I'm talking late. But if you can get a late Milf who's dual position, which helps him as well,
dual's interesting.
under Wayne. If it wasn't dual, I wouldn't mention it.
Yeah.
He didn't go too bad at the Knights when he did have that bit of a run.
And they were going fucking awfully.
Yeah.
He looked okay.
He was the only one that was a bit of a shining light.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can see
So
that.
I don't mind it. I think the Qatar one, I think he'll be relevant at some point.
Yeah.
But then I also, I'm sorry, fucking, how do we know he's next up? Could Nicarima be next up? Wayne's used him as a 7 and a 6 before.
Wayne's just not good for Supercoach.
Not good at all.
He's not.
It's so hard to just
It's so
predict
hard.
what he's
It's
going to
fun.
do.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I mean, mate, we could get, I don't think he will. We could get to round 1 and he starts as a Qatar.
Yeah.
But I
Oh, no. I'm
I don't think
not
he will.
expecting him to start.
yeah.
I
But
just
if
think...
Wayne did it, you'd be like, oh, okay, just Wayne up to his old tricks again.
Yeah, 100%.
Exactly.
Yeah, which
100%.
you're constantly trying to gamble with.
Yeah.
Have we all done halfbacks?
Yep.
Yep.
Into CTWs now. I love Kenny Mamalo as a sleeper. 45 average, had 3 injury-affected games. Take those out, bumps him up to 51. He played literally the whole back end of the season injured. Brian loves him because of this fact that he shouldn't have been out there. He doesn't know why they were playing him.
Yeah.
And that really hurt his average. At the start of the season, though, he scored 10 tries in 12 games. Luke Brooks sparked a really good combination with him. Obviously, a great aerial target. Like, 10 tries in 12 games for the Tigers last year. Fuck me. That's wild. Now you've got that left edge where you're going to have Papali'i sucking in defenders. Luke Brooks obviously is going to benefit from that, playing confident footy. I think where Ken Mamalo will be taken in drafts, I think that's supreme value.
Yeah. I think, you'll be able to get him for a song as well.
Late.
So super late. I've got 2. I've got Bradman Best, and spoke a little bit about him earlier, and I think, look, he's not going to be that like 65, 70-point averaging player this season, but I think he's got potential in future seasons to definitely do that if he stays injury-free. This season, I think you can pick him up off that 51 average, easily get 55 to 60 out of him. And I think playing inside of Marju, the old draw and pass, and him busting through tackles, 20 points each time he does that. Thank you.
Who's the next club? Who's your player from the next club? What club is it?
Storm.
Go.
Coates. Xavier Coates. I think it's going to be one of those really good stack. Like you mentioned it earlier, the stack between him and Hughes would be great. I think the fact that he was out injured for a large part of the season, we saw a lot of combinations happen with him and Hughes. It was only just starting, and I think full pre-season, fucking watch out. It is going to be lights out for a lot of those left side defensive outfits.
Is Jerome Hughes handing out hand jobs on your plane down or what?
I wish.
Blowies, mate, blowies.
Blowies. Yeah, fucking hell. Jesus Christ. Wish my parents loved me as much as you love Hughes. It's unbelievable.
You got to pick at one player a season where you're just like, you know what?
We were Team Hines last year. We're Team Hughes this year.
Oh, were you guys Hines last year?
Oh, fuck
How'd
off.
that work out?
I just haven't heard you mention it.
Whatever.
By the way, for those playing at home, I think I've gone 2 hours without saying the name Jermaine Hopgood, so
Is that
world record there.
Is that the longest you've ever spent?
Quite possibly.
I'll ask
Where was he
the
on the
missus just to
sleepers?
check.
I don't think he will sleep. I think he'll be a known gun.
Classic.
Yeah.
Well, no, he's obviously going to be
If you
drafting.
listen to
classic,
me in
yeah.
August. Anyway.
Could be anything, that kid.
My sleeper in CTWs, he's a guy that you will get value out of early. Then you have to play the waiting game, but Taruva.
Yeah.
And he's a guy that you're 1 injury away from getting a round 4 or 5 CTW late.
Yeah.
So during Origin, he'll get good games. I think he could be a guy that he plays CTW, so it's a good chance he'll be an AE every week for your VCs, and then probably towards the back end of the season, he'll probably get to play grand final week.
Yep.
So Taruva's a guy that I really like as well.
I mean, with
Late
15
grade.
players on your bench, you can afford to sort of play that sort of thing, can't you?
You can. And you can't afford to with only 2 fucking CTWs in your side. CTW's falling out of your skirts. All right.
Fucking hell.
Where are we up to?
Fullbacks.
We're up to fullbacks.
Fullbacks. So I had Xavier Savage before he got injured, but I'm going to double down here because people won't touch him. And so let's say he comes back round 8 from this injury, this broken jaw, right? So first I'll talk about his games at fullback last year. So he played 12 games at fullback. He averaged 58. So that turns a 46 average into 58. That's huge value already without doing anything else, right? Then say he comes back round 8. Now we start talking about strength of schedule, right? So from rounds 9 to 15, Raiders have the second best strength of schedule. Savage has the best strength of schedule among fullbacks. From rounds 16 to 22, Raiders have the second best strength of schedule. Savage has the third best strength of schedule among fullbacks. And then for your SuperCoach finals, if you play around 23 to 26, Savage has the second best strength of schedule fullbacks, and Raiders have the fourth best strength of schedule. They play the Tigers, the Storm's pretty hard, but then finish up with the Bulldogs and Broncos. So someone that literally probably slips onto your bench in your draft because people just will not be looking at him. Wow.
I will say something though. Out of the 3 easier teams you did mention, I think all 3 of those will be better defensive outfits than last year. Because of the recruits they've had.
Yep.
I need to put out a public apology. Taruva's only fullback. He's not CTW. I don't know why the fuck he's not. I just assumed he was dual. He's not. He's only fullback. So that hurts him a little bit.
Doesn't surprise me coming from you, to be honest.
That's fair. So you're relying on him.
It was an
getting
impressive
CTW
fact check though.
Yeah, thank you. I'll own it. I'll wear it. I'm surprised he didn't get pulled up by the experts in the suits. But anyway,
he isn't on our radar because he's fullback.
Of course he's not, sure. If I had to pick a guy that I think could be a bit of a sleeper, I don't know how far he'll sleep. Reece Walsh.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And similar to what you were saying before when he went off the field, when Walsh went off the field for the Broncos, you just saw that team drop massively.
Yep.
And they just were in disarray. And obviously the Simbinning didn't help as well. But I feel like he has such an impact on that team. You add in a bit more combinations with both him and Reynolds, with him and Mam. I think there's huge output to come out of him.
I think the other guy that could be, we haven't spoken about him in this category, we have spoken about him, but could be the biggest sleep in the entire comp, could be Papi.
Yeah?
Yeah. He's a weird one, isn't he? So hard.
I don't think we've ever seen a player like him in this situation before where he could decide a draft comp.
Yep.
You could finish 8th and win it easily.
Yep.
And I think he's the type of player that, like the type of injury that he's got with in the knee, his type of game is so built on explosive changes in direction that I don't know how long it would take to build up the strength in the knee and the confidence in your knee to allow him to hit the heights that he's had previously. That's my main concern about drafting him highly. He is worth a punt, obviously, but that's the only thing that I'm just a little bit concerned about.
Yeah, and you nailed it before, Guru, when you were talking about, okay, say he comes back round 10. When is he back to 100%? When are you going to get a return on your draft?
Yep.
And that sort of uncertainty for me, for where you're going to have to draft him, is just, no, I'm not keen on it.
You could have everything go your way and he could still be very disappointing.
Yep. I'm keen on Reece Walsh, boys. A lot to unpack there. I mean, he's hot, great player. Electric.
Those eyes, though.
Ceiling. Wow. Is Broncos round 22 by? Does that worry you?
No, 24. No, 25, actually. They're around 25 by.
Oh. Yeah, they are too. Yeah, because South is 26.
It busts up the value of all Broncos players.
Especially as a fullback, hurts.
Yeah.
But when you take into consideration, you're probably only going to be spending a maybe 40s, maybe 50s pick on him. It's not going to hurt you too much because the main guys you don't want to have having the buy-in in your grand final are your top 3 picks.
It's just
your captaincy options.
If you're taking someone in a position like fullback and you know they're not going to play a round in your SuperCoach finals, you need to draft a CTW fullback dual player to cover. So a Nick Meaney, Tessie New, someone like that to back it up.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
So lucky last, I've gone Ponga as my sleeper.
Yep.
You've gone him as the boom. I think we're both right. I think the 50 point average from last season is absolute. Yeah, he's gonna absolutely smash it.
I love you. You love me. Circle, circle, circle jerk. So
Yep.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
The more.
Fucking hell.
So,
Oh my God. Are you listening to this? Are you listening to this?
No, I agree with both of you.
So who's dick to a hold? Please. No.
Just hold on to this outturned pocket, mate.
After we talked to Brian, I was like, ooh, because he was so down on him, right? Which I hope really drives the value up for him. But I think, mate, he could be anything. And it's the.
Got a trademark on that, thank you.
I don't think you're saying it enough. And we're
I'm too rattled.
He hasn't said it for 6 months.
Gone into hiding.
Oh, God. And
See the line, Bart.
But
The fight.
say the line.
Say it. The 5-8 duel, round 6, is just
Juicy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
But
That's
yeah,
good.
you hit the nail on the head. Like, the scary thing is we haven't seen him at his full potential.
Yeah.
And is this, do we think that the move to 5'8" is going to get a Darren Lockyer effect? That he just improves and gets better?
No, but I don't think it has to have a Darren Lockyer effect.
Yeah.
I just think he has to just play decent footy.
Yeah.
Okay. Wouldn't it just be typical if KP plays the first 2 games, gets a head knock, Tyson Gamble comes in and does well, and KP returns at fullback, and you've drafted him as that'd be one of the great kicks of the dick. Yeah.
And that's the thing that obviously worries Brian, is because the way he plays, he goes so far into the line.
Yeah.
And do you think defenses are going to be like, oh, you know what? He does have a concussion history. I'll probably lay off him. No, they're going to fucking jam him.
Whack him. Yeah.
He never shies away from contact.
No.
He's too tough for his own good.
As a small guy, he needs to protect himself a bit more, and he's just not that type of person.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Except when he's in the dunnies with someone else.
No comment. Stay aways. So these are avoids. Now, these might be specific players. These might be a group of players from a team. There's a few different avenues to go down here. Walk, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, look, we touched on him before as a bust. So Hodgson, I think also the Broncos and Panthers hookers are ones that I'd look to stay away from as well. Hooker in general is such a tough position that I'd almost, instead of any of those players, drafting them early as you'd have to get them, I'd probably just auto emergency. I wouldn't be going too hard on any of them. And look, the Tigers pack, and we've touched on it before. There are too many mouths to feed. Joe Offa, Fanua-Pole, Stefano. Stefano's going to have an amazing season, and I think he definitely gets an uptick from his average from last year. But you got Clemmer on top of that. You got Twal when he comes back from his head injuries. Like, there are just too many big boppers in that team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've gone Ben Hunt. He scored 11 for me in my grand final last year. So that cunt is dead
As
to
captain.
me. He
As
will not
as
be-
captain
he
in the
will
grand
not
final.
be drafted by the Eskimo Bros. Cheese, I think he's supremely overvalued. Everyone is just all over Cheese. I get that he will beat his 45 average, but I don't think he's going to average 60, 65 like everybody thinks he will. So I'll let somebody else take him. And I've said it a million times, I just don't draft Luai. I don't care.
Fair play.
Yep. I've gone Raiders middles. I can understand if you go Tapane, but I still think it's a punt for where you're going to have to draft him. Hooker's not named Harry Grant, and I've got Mitch Kenny. I think a lot of people are overhyping Mitch Kenny. I think that the numbers are there. He's going to average 35.
Yep.
You've seen Mitch Kenny. It's nothing changes for him.
No.
Different dude. Nothing changes.
And he's just going to be that distributor when he's on.
Yeah.
And Luke is going to come on and be a bit of spark when they need it.
Yeah, I think that if there's one spot that people out there before your draft day, get a list of stayaways and fucking stick to it.
Yeah.
Don't get in the heat of the
sucked into
moment.
it,
Yeah, whether it's hooker, whether it's 5'8", whatever it might be, pick something, fuck it off, and stick to it.
And every draft, there is a run on players in different run on positions. So there is going to be a run on hookers. There's going to be a run on 2RFs. Like, just keep your head on a swivel. Don't overthink the draft.
Yeah, and if you want more detail on those sort of strategies, the show before this one that we did a couple of weeks ago, the deepest fucking dive you could possibly have into all that sort of stuff. So all that content's there. If it's your first draft day, whatever it might be, I highly advise go and listen to that content. This has got RubDown written all over it. 5-man crushers.
Yeah,
wanna kick us off?
Number 1, Pat Carrigan. Please get him in my side, and I'll partner that with Ruben Cotter. Just like I said, These guys are just going to improve the super coach experience for me. I love Mad Dog. I love Maddo.
Still?
Really?
He doesn't even want to play footy.
Yeah, that's weird.
He hates his team.
Yeah, he'll come back though and throw out 9
He's obviously just
game.
He stinks of the Eskimo. What Eskimo boys? What Joes?
Eskimo,
what are you,
Eskimo boys.
Bro,
Eskimo
boys. Eskimo boys.
How long have we got left in this podcast? And Joey Manu. I love Joey Manu.
Yeah, Joey. Mine, Cotter, obviously. I've got Ezra Mam, absolutely electric. Love to watch him play. Brian Toto, just an absolute spunk rat. Adam Dwayne.
Okay.
He's great to watch, great running. And then Reece Walsh. Have a look at those eyes.
Yeah, I love that.
They're like your baby blues there, Guru.
I thought you might have got a simultaneous enough of that.
Yeah,
almost
gold
medal.
To him. He's had too many of enough of that. So.
I'm going to go through my man crushes. Cotter gets a feature in all three, without a doubt.
As he should.
For those that had the overs-unders of 2 hours for me to say Jermaine Hopgood, you've been very unlucky. He's coming in here. Unlucky. Jermaine Hopgood. I'm going to go with KP. I like him heading into this year. I've got Cleary for a big uptick, and I've got him first pick, so he's always going to be on my list. And Isaac Tunga. I've sucked off relentlessly this off-season and last one. So very, very keen on those 5. Now to finish off, quick fire.
Let's go.
I'm just going to say names.
Answer.
One word. Done.
One word.
Let's do this.
Okay.
Here we go. We'll see how this goes.
Blake or Jaden?
Jaden.
Like.
Jaden. Appy Cheese.
Appy.
Cheese. Cook Robson.
Robson.
Tapane or Tino?
Tapano.
Tapane. I want to say more. I'll interrupt for a second.
Yeah.
Tino's a guy we haven't spoken about tonight.
Yeah.
He's interesting.
And he's dual.
Yeah. One word, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
This guy. No. Look, I feel like the change in spine is going to produce a lot more opportunities. We've seen what he can do in attack, and I feel like he's going to present a lot of runs at the line. Yeah. And Verrills knows how to use his.
No, it's fine. Okay.
Verrills knows how to use his big man. Yeah. All right, next.
Nice. Who put this together? Tohu or Cotter?
Yeah,
Cotter, please. Cotter, I'll take Cotter on one leg. JDB or Thompson?
JDB.
JDB.
Yeah, JDB.
I do like Luke Thompson though. I think you're good on.
Just I don't know. He's in and out. He's I don't know.
He's at lock this week as well.
Yeah, interesting. Let's go Young Lane.
Fuck, this is hard.
I'm gonna go Lane.
I'm going Lane.
Yeah, I think I'll go Lane as well.
Yep. Yo or Carrigan?
Carrigan.
Next.
Carrigan for me. Natty's gone Yo. Mitch Moses or the prodigal son, Jesus Hughes. Who you going for, boys?
Jesus.
Unbelievable. I'll go Hughes, but it's fucking tight. Walker, Fogarty.
I'm gonna go
Sam
Fogarty.
Walker, obviously.
Yep. I'm gonna go Fogarty.
Walker for me.
Yep. Enjoy the ride, guys.
Thank you. Hunt Reynolds.
This is a very good one.
Reynolds. Because
I'm going to go
never
Hunt.
be on my side again.
I'm going to go Hunt, only because he ruined your year.
I would slowly go towards Hunt as well, I think. Yeah.
I think the injury issue.
One word.
Yeah.
Dwayne Burton. First time I've seen this all off-season. Dwayne Burton.
Yeah, Dwayne.
Yeah, I'm going Burton, though.
Fuck, it's hard, though.
Yeah.
It's the closest one yet.
Yeah, by far and away. Let's go for Walker Dearden. I'm going Dearden.
I'm assuming this is Cody Walker, and I'm going to go
Dearden.
Kiri Whiten.
This is a yuck one because I don't like either of them for SuperCoach.
Yep.
I'm going to go Kiri.
I have never and will never draft either of these two. I know that for sure. I would go with Kiri, though, just for that.
Yep.
More upside. Mulatalo or Katoa?
Fuck, that's a tough one.
Mulatalo.
I'm going to go Katoa. I like a bit of Sione on that right side.
It's tough, isn't it?
It's very tough. I would go Mulatalo just because I think he's more on ball. I think you get a little bit more out of him. Yep. Garrick or To'o?
To'o.
Toto for days.
Yep. Toto. Holmes or Toto?
Toto again.
I'm going Holmes.
Yeah,
I think he's in for a big one.
Goal kick and centre. I think there's a massive uptick for Tuolagi.
Yep.
And I think there's going to be a lot of
I love this one word stuff.
From
Who are you going for?
Holmes.
Holmes. Nice. Thanks for being so sufficient. Oates or Cobbo? Ooh, a couple of Reggies. Who are you going for?
Cobbo.
Cobbo.
Oates.
I think I'm going to go Cobbo.
The Throbbo. That's very close, that one.
If Oates had a centre inside him that would pass the ball, though, I think it'd be him by
Oh, yeah, but
distance. But
Farnsey's not that
no,
type
he
of
doesn't
guy.
pass footy. Toops, Suoliti. I'm going Toops.
Yeah.
I'm going Toops as well.
100 Toops.
I think Suoliti,
Considering he's nailed on that left centre now.
Yep.
yeah, I just think that quite often on their plays, Manu will pop in.
Toops is going to be on the end of a lot of points.
Yeah. Turbo Teddy.
Turbo.
I'm going to go Teddy.
Because of injuries and stuff, or?
No, you just know what you're going to get. Like, you look at the last 5 seasons, he's been in the top 10.
Top 5.
Top 5.
So if you had third pick, you'd go Teddy over Turbo? Because if the answer's no, then...
I'd actually probably go Munster.
At third pick?
Yeah.
He's gone rogue. What time is it? It's way past your bedtime. What's happening here?
Yeah, Munster, third
What's
overall.
happening
I just think the final strength of schedule is just ridiculous for the Storm.
Does that help Munster?
It doesn't. It just gives him a massive uptick.
Yeah, okay. Interesting.
Spicy.
You don't want to win that competition. You just got.
It's a hot take.
That is a hot. That's, yeah. Drinky or Gutho? I'm going Drink.
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 Scotty Drink bloke. Walsh or Kennedy? I'm going Walsh.
Walsh.
All right. Shout out to, I had a couple of mates who, we obviously do our challenges for draft day. I had a Melbourne Cup sweeps. I think what they did this year is the greatest idea I've ever heard. They got, I don't know which WWE game it was, but they got a PlayStation game of WWE and they made characters alike to all of them.
Oh, wow.
Put them in a Royal Rumble, all got together on a Sunday afternoon and watched it on the big screen.
What?
And as your character was knocked out of the Royal Rumble, that's where you got your draft pick.
So you're playing.
No.
It's like
you're all just having
it's
beers.
like
It's a simulator, and you're just watching it all happen.
Wow.
So you're just watching this carnage, and one by one they drop out.
Sick.
That's good.
And they kept order of
That's very
the draft
good.
order.
That's
I
so
think it's
good.
fucking genius.
That's very
that.
good.
So they had,
Give me the details of that. That's
15 blokes. I'll have to get some more details off Morgo, but
You
they
have
had
to add
15
that- add that
blokes.
to the
100%
list,
we will.
yeah.
Sitting around a lounge room watching
Yes.
this thing play out.
Yes.
And the guy that did it spent about the last month and a half making the characters, and they were very well done.
Oh, so
amazing.
good.
With
that's
like,
good.
obviously, hair, bob,
Yeah, yeah.
facial hair. Then they picked kits that suited those guys.
That's
Very, very good
unreal.
stuff.
Yeah.
I was very impressed.
Yep.
Now, boys, before we do go, for those that aren't following the Weekly RubDown, where can they find you? Patreon, tell us all.
Yep. Find us on all the socials: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok as well. Killing TikTok at the moment, aren't we? Jeez, big TikTokers.
Low hanging fruit.
Podcast, obviously, wherever you get your podcasts,
Yep.
and then the Patreon as well. That's all in the link in our bio. Patreon. Look, if you're serious about your draft, you need to get on there. $5 a month, it's fucking nothing.
Yeah. And we'll be trialling a captaincy selector tool for both classic and for draft. So something to come for the regular season.
Stop it.
I will take the piss out of these two until the cows come home. And when the cows are home, I will still relentlessly take the piss out of the two of them.
Fair.
But the Patreon, I think it is a must-have for any draft player out there. Was it $5 a month?
Yep.
$5 a
Fucking
month,
please.
yeah.
And it's the
Giving it
tip
away.
of the iceberg. I'm telling you, people. Once this season kicks off, this is when Wooker starts going and just stats. Pew, 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 pew.
Less than a skewy month.
Make sure you're supporting the boys. We will be back next month. We're going to do about one every 4 weeks or so. We're going to work out. So
We'll have our teams.
we'll have our
next
teams,
month.
and that'll be a
Whoa.
cracker.
That'll
That'll be
be
unreal.
very
good one.
good.
And it'll be good too because not only will we have our teams, we'll see 2 weeks of team lists.
Yep.
And we'll be able to talk about all that, where we fuck. I think that'll be a big roasting session.
Yep.
Yep.
We just go through.
Sign me up.
Cannot wait. That'll be unreal.
It's always the best time of the year.
It's the best.
Just roasting.
Boys, what do you think of the drop, just quietly?
Lovely.
Oh, this is
Always
tasty,
the best.
tasty
Yes,
stuff.
I love the heavy for me is the go. Thanks.
Yeah.
Some of us have to drive your ass around.
So, Bloke in a Bar, guys, we've got the country tours coming up in March. So, we will be hitting Wagga Wagga, Armidale, Cairns, and Rockhampton. It's going to be sensational. Kempy yesterday put up the times for all of those on his Instagram. It'll be on mine as well. 6 p.m. shows for 4 Friday nights on the trot, the first 4 weeks of the season. So, if you are nearby there, come and say hello, come have a beer, and for fuck's sake, someone come and talk SuperCoach with me. That'll be unreal.
Yes.
Me and Timmy Williams will be there.
Good.
So we'll be keen as mustard to have a SuperCoach chat. Boys, thanks for coming down once again. Always appreciate
always.
it.
Thank you very much.
Look half decent this time.
Yes.
Not bad.
How good's the wire?
Big commitment. Love it. The Wire. How good. I fucking love it. Thanks for joining us again, guys. We'll see you next time on The Wire.